When he tucks it and runs, watch out.
It is ESPN College Football presented by Tums. Temperatures in the lower 80s on a spectacular Saturday. Little breakfast in college football. You can't beat it in the Central Time Zone. And just about set and ready to go at Amon G. Carter Stadium, which should be a packed house by the time we get deeper into this first half. Well, it depends on who you talk to regarding the importance of this rivalry matchup. SMU put up 66 points a year ago and a beatdown of their crosstown rival here in the Metroplex. Mustangs won the coin toss and elected to receive. 85 degrees, barely a cloud in the sky to start. And week 4, 2025 campaign underway around America. Link Rhodes back deep to receive the kickoff from McCashlin. Now let's take a look at today's Impact Players, brought to you by Mattress Firm. Sam?
Well, I'm excited about this matchup. For SMU, it's going to be their defensive stud, Ahmad Moses. Why? He had a pick 6 in his first week, but he's a captain of this team. He's a leader. He's going to play nickel and safety. For TCU, when they're on offense, Jordan Dwyer's their big play threat, but Joseph Manjack, watch out for him as a safety valve for Josh Hoover. Why? Because SMU loves to bring pressure. So expect that matchup between Moses and Manjack and the pressure that you're going to see in this game.
Great alliteration to start this broadcast. Manjack, by the way, 29 straight games with a reception. Third in the country, dating back to 2 different schools. SMU has it first. And on first down through the A-gap, T.J. Harden, the UCLA transfer, barrels his way across the 30 and a gain of 6.
And expect a heavy dose of run and also quick tempo. SMU is one of the fastest offenses in the nation. They do change the tempo up at times, but they want to run the football in order to open up the passing lanes for the defense.
It's a new roster for the Mustangs after reaching the college football playoff a season ago. 42 new players out of the 85 roster limit set in play. Over the left side, a 2-yard pickup for Harden. Austin Jordan with a tackle. It'll be 3rd and short. Crowd is in it early. The student section for the Horned Frogs showed up early this AM and making a little bit of noise. Stone Eby in motion, and here comes a penalty flag. ACC officiating crew.
False start, offense, number 88, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Matthew Hibner, a lot of 12 personnel with 2 tight ends featured by the Mustangs. That was Jerry Magallanes. And instead of 3rd and 2, they'll back him up 5, 3rd and long.
It's interesting, though, Roy. Take a note of that 3rd and 2 or 3rd and short play. That was going to be a run play, an inside zone play with a tight end coming in to block. And so that speaks to the mindset of this offense. They want to be physical in a 3rd and short. Now we're in 3rd and 7, different situation, but the mindset stays the same.
Jordan Hudson back in the starting lineup for SMU. Jennings looking his direction, flings it across the middle, and it's incomplete. Yamir Knight, the intended target. 3 and out forced by the TCU defense to start with Aid with a penalty.
Yeah, outstanding pressure by TCU. The penalty made it to a 3rd and obvious pass. You're going to see Kevin Jennings trying to get that ball out. We're going to see him get hit and pressured in the pocket. So you see the game plan. SMU wants to be physical early in the downs, but if it's a 3rd and obvious, TCU will bring pressure.
Wade McSparron on to punt. 2-1 SMU Mustangs, 2nd year in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Jordan Dwyer, Idaho transfer, a little bit of real estate. Dancing out short of the 35. Well, it was just 364 days ago in one of the most explosive games of the 2024 campaign. A couple of defensive touchdowns for the Mustangs. Cobia and Crossley running one back early. Brashard Smith accounting for 4 touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 1 through the air. And then Sonny Dykes, the former SMU headman, was ejected in the 3rd quarter. He told us yesterday that was by accident. More on that later. And SMU with 66 reclaiming the iron skillet in a 66-42 victory in Dallas. First touch for the Horned Frogs. Jeremy Payne in it, running back with a crease, and a big gain. Payne racing for 21, and a good start for the Horned Frogs, trying to protect the home turf.
And a great block by number 51, the center, Colton Deary, where you see Jeremy Payne's speed. That's the difference about him than some of the other backs. He's got the big play ability.
TCU without the services of Kavorian Barnes. Banged up, lower body injury. Catch by Eric McAllister. And the transfer from Boise State picks up another first down, a gain of 12.
Yeah, he's another name that you need to know. He hasn't really gotten activated so far this year in the offense, but the coaching staff said, hey, the ball's going to find the open receiver. So far, McAllister looks like he's going to get involved early.
Quarterback Josh Hoover, perhaps one name not on America's radar, supremely confident. Nearly threw an interception there into traffic. Joseph Manjack was the intended receiver, and Wacobia able to get a fingertip on it.
We talked with some of the coaches staff yesterday, and they said, man, when Josh Hoover sets his feet and steps up in the pocket, he's extremely accurate. When he doesn't do that, it's going to be a problem. Only one interception so far this year, but last year he did have a tendency to turn the ball over.
Making his 22nd career start. Off the draw, Jeremy Payne. Just a sophomore out of Missouri City, Texas, Hightower High School. He'll gain 2. Cameron Robertson a tackle, an important third down.
It's Scott Simons, Roy, as you know, the defensive coordinator for SMU. He's a guy that loves to bring pressure, but he said early on, I want to get a feel for the game. I want to see how we do in our one-on-one matchup. So I understand it's 3rd and 8. Those linebackers don't look like they're up close. They want to come and blitz.
For the record, I didn't believe a word he said when he said he was going to wait to see if he wanted to bring the heat. And a couple penalty markers. Ben Taylor, Whitfield, some movement.
Ball start, offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So we'll see if that's a drive killer based off what happened with SMU in its first touch, Sam.
Correct, and I want to keep an eye on these linebackers. Oftentimes as a linebacker, you're about 4 yards off the ball, but you have a tendency, if you're going to blitz, you start to lean forward a little bit. And so my eyes are on the 2 inside LBs for SMU. What will they do on this 3rd and long? I believe it's going to be a drop back, like maybe a 4-man rush or 3. Well, let's see what SMU decides to do.
Trent Battle, the running back for the Horned Frogs for the first time. Across the line and perhaps a little bit of contact into the neutral zone. Isaiah Smith and Cam Robertson both jumped.
Ball start, offense, number 6. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And Trent Battle with some movement that inspired that leap by 2 SMU defenders. So now pushed out of field goal range. Nate McCashlin, the kicker, as Kyle Lemmerman continues to battle lower leg injury. 3rd down and 18. TCU off that impressive Monday night, Labor Day night victory against North Carolina. Nobody gave the Horned Frogs a chance. Here's Josh Hoover. And escapes out of bounds back into field goal range. A 13-yard gain on the ground. And let's see what Sonny Dykes wants to do.
Yeah, great pressure by Cameron Robertson, number 9. And then you saw Alexander Kilgore get out of his inside linebacker position to try and get that stop. But now it's 4th, and they're staying on the field. I trust the offense, and I love the decision to try and get touchdowns and not field goals.
And a good call by you with Kilgore and Zakai Barker back on the field for SMU today. Those 2 linebacker spots on 4th down and 5. Sonny Dykes electing to go for it. Battle motions out. Hoover's going to escape. Straight ahead for the first down. Into the red zone.
Another great block, the center, Colton Deary, number 51. You're going to see him make a great block on this quarterback draw. All the offensive line wants the defense to do is to rush up the field, leave a little bit of a sliver of a lane. They got it.
Here's Battle. Bundled up, sent backwards. And a short gain on first down.
So far, Roy, I love the aggression that TCU is showing in this game. In this game, field goals aren't going to win you this game. 3 points won't do it. You need touchdowns. So go for it on 4th down. And I love the decision of a quarterback draw.
What is it with college football just uniting against kickers these days? Nobody likes the field goal anymore.
I got to be more accurate, man. I need to trust you guys more. Roy, Mr. Former Kicker.
I like how you categorize me as we. That works. 5 runs, 2 passes to start for the Horned Frogs. 2nd and 9. Jeremy Payne, the running back. They'll switch it. A bit of a reverse. And they will sack him in the backfield. SMU was ready and waiting.
Yeah,
a loss of 8.
Yeah, we heard from Scott Simons, the DC, said, man, this offense, you're going to see reverses. So they were ready for it. Unbelievable pressure by number 3, Ahmad Moses, the guy that we talked about, the captain, the leader. He sniffed it out from the beginning and forced a negative play.
It's Major Everhart that ended up with a football. They converted 3rd and 18 moments ago, 3rd and 17 now. Floated, far side, and caught. Tearing the jersey and into the end zone. Eric McAllister. And the first touchdown of the season for the Boise State transfer from 27 yards out.
Well, the ball hadn't found him yet this season, but that wasn't by design. It was just by matchups. All of a sudden, Josh Hoover sees the pressure, avoids the pressure, and Eric McAllister high points the football over at the outstretched arms of the defender and tiptoes into the end zone.
Sam, you go back a year ago, 90% of his receptions went for first down. That time, it goes for a touchdown. On 3rd and long, Eric McAllister, some McMagic to start.
Yeah, scramble drill done to perfection. He points to his receiver. The receiver high points the ball and then gets to the end zone for 6.
Here at Fort Worth, you're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. Raymond G. Carter Stadium. Beautiful Saturday morning, just underway, and a good start for the home team. Undefeated TCU, leading SMU after that 67-yard, 9-play scoring drive. First touchdown of the season for Eric McAllister, and a good start for the always accurate Josh Hoover, who by many accounts may be starting to emerge on some radars in the quarterback rankings and conversation nationally. After converting on 3rd and 17 for the first score of this game. 2 yards deep, Link Rhodes. Waiting for the convoy. The 22 and brought down there. There's a Taco Bell Live Más student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Más student section of the year. Who will take home the trophy this year? Raucous crowd on hand about an hour before kickoff in the TCU student section. Sam, it is an 11 a.m. kickoff time, so perhaps a little bit later arriving crowd than normal if it was later in the day, but they've been loud to start, and the stadium starting to fill in.
And the fans are talking that noise a little bit. They were talking junk to the SMU players on their sideline, so the student section is going to try to make an impact on this game.
Mentioned Jordan Hudson has returned after the elbow injury. Chris Johnson to the edge. And SMU with its first down. 14-yard gain on the ground for the Mustangs, and the drive begins here.
And Chris Johnson's another one of those shifty type of backs. Transfer from Miami. He's got a little bit of juice to him, so you'll see him try to wiggle and explode. So he's got a different skill set as well in the SMU backfield.
It's this game a year ago that kick-started SMU's run through the ACC and into the college football playoff. Knight in motion. Jennings wants to throw it. Quick delivery. Link Rhodes. And Rhodes ushered out of bounds at the 46. Another first down for SMU.
And that's you see that live arm that Kevin Jennings has. That's one thing that makes him different. His arm and his legs. The arm is live and the legs have even more life to them when he uses them.
Here comes the tempo. Rhodes reported to campus from junior college the end of July, just starting to get acclimated to the edge. Chris Johnson again, outstanding speed and vision, and a sandwich out of bounds into plus territory. There's a penalty marker down at the 42 of SMU.
Holding, offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Yeah, that's Andrew Chambly. He's the right tackle, getting his first start of the season. Going to see the pressure. Great job pressuring by TCU. And Chambly, his eyes are inside. He doesn't know what to do. He knows the ball's coming right behind him, so he gets lazy with his hands and instead grabs the defender and causes a 10-yard penalty.
Big penalty ended SMU's first drive. We'll see if they can overcome the 10-yard infraction. Actually, it's a lot more than that, considering it would have been a first down in TCU territory. Drive number 2.
And even more so, Roy, the worst thing about a 1st and 20 is that it intrudes on the mindset of the flow of the game you want to have as an offensive coordinator.
TJ Harden tests the left edge.
And here's what I mean by that. So if that was a 3-yard gain or a 4-yard gain on 1st and 10, now it's 2nd and 7. Now you have options. But now it's not 2nd and 7, it's 2nd and 17. So it has to be a pass here. You can't run it again and have a 3rd and 13. So penalties like that, they disallow a coordinator from calling certain plays.
7 minutes remaining here in our first quarter in Fort Worth. Play action for Jennings. Wants to go long and does. Over the secondary and incomplete, and Ymir Knight broke open at the last minute. Bud Clark was in the area and may have gotten in the line of sight on that pass coming down.
So this is going to be a cover 2. Number 3, Caleb Elarms-Orr is a linebacker. He's actually the middle runner on that play. He was way too far behind. So that was a perfectly placed ball, but watch out for this SMU offense trying to split that cover 2. The linebacker's the middle runner. He's supposed to stay with that vertical route. He was too far off from the vertical.
And Casey Woods confirming that to us yesterday. They felt they could take some shots in the middle of the field with their tight ends and with Knight. 3rd and long. Here's pressure. Jennings able to fire a strike to Jordan Hudson. And Hudson, the reception, 2nd of the season. And a 25-yard gain on 3rd and 17.
And one thing I love, Jordan Hudson, he dislocated his elbow week 1. So he catches this ball. We didn't know if he was going to play, but notice he's not going to stiff arm. He's going to lower that shoulder to keep his elbow from getting injured.
Jennings eludes the pressure again, buys some time to the perimeter. Positive gain for Kevin Jennings. Sammy hasn't run a lot so far this season. You mentioned the injuries, probably 80 to 85% with the ankle. He'll have to do that today.
Correct. He hasn't run a lot, but when he does, he is special. There's a different element to his game. It's not as if he's a dual threat quarterback that when he tucks it and runs, he's just going to go and get a first down. He'll tuck it and run laterally to allow his receivers to get down the field. So it's like a dual threat to the dual threat, right? He's not just going to run it and get vertical, run it and get lateral. Offense is going to go down the field, and his receivers may be open. Was that be a quadruple threat? 2 squared.
Doubling the dual threat?
Yeah, 2 squared.
That makes sense.
1 to the 5th power.
I was told mathematics would not be involved. Movement in the backfield. Mustangs will be backed up 5 yards.
Illegal substitution. Offense breaking the huddle with 12 players. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Substitution infraction will be the 3rd penalty against SMU. Penalties have been an issue at times this year for Rhett Lashley's team, and we mentioned the newness of the roster. 42 new faces, the recruiting, and also the transfer portal. We talked to the staff yesterday at length, and they all seem to be pointing towards the beginning of conference play as the mesh point for this team coming together and figuring things out, and certainly that's what happened a year ago, but of course they want to win this game to get to 3-1. Martin, a jump cut, stutter step. 3-yard gain on 1st and 15.
Yeah, conference play does matter, but the mentality of a player, you want to win all your games. And so I understand, okay, maybe I don't want to, Jordan Hudson, do I try to play even though I'm injured? Man, I want to play. I want to win. I don't care. It's an in-state rival. Let's find a way to win this game. So conference play is extremely important, but for in-state rivals like this, you want to win every time you're on the field.
Mustangs have had field goal problems to start this season. 2nd and 12, Jennings to his right. The pump fake, the fling. And the grab was made for a first down by Jalen Cooper. So the talented freshman, Casey Woods told us, is a manipulator of space. Picks up the first.
Yeah, he's a true freshman out of Cibolo who's got elite quickness.
Off the chest of Jennings, and the sidearm toss is incomplete. An awkward snap ends in an awkward delivery, 2nd and 10.
And Jalen Cooper, to your point, Roy, had to step up and carry a bigger load. when Jordan Hudson got injured. Now they're coming in for one another. Look at Jennings just staying alive, finding his receiver. That's the thing about we talked about with his legs. He's not going to just tuck it and run it vertically. He's going to run horizontal to allow his receivers time and space.
10th play of the drive, SMU in the red zone, second down. Harden. Well, there was a hole that was there. It opened up at the line. Powers his way to the 11. It'll be third down after a 3-yard gain.
So we talked about the field goals versus touchdown situations. In my opinion, no matter what happens, this is a 4-down territory. You have 2 more plays to get this first down. I'm not saying that you run the ball on 3rd and 7, but I am saying that you need touchdowns in this matchup. Field goals will not cut it.
Second possession for SMU. The Mustangs at 2-1. Their only loss in double overtime against Baylor. Hibner in motion. Jennings the other direction. Front pylon. And incomplete. Jordan Hudson. It was bobbled for a moment. And unable to catch it cleanly inbounds.
Well, Jordan Hudson receives a perfectly placed ball. He was bobbling it a bit, but I'm trying to see if that one even hit the ground or did that stay underneath his forearms.
They may want to take a look at that. It certainly was bang-bang as he hit the turf.
The ruling on the field, the pass was incomplete. The previous play is under further review.
Jess Patterson is our replay official in conjunction with Game Day Operations in Charlotte. Remember, this is an ACC officiating crew, so they will get a chance to review what we just saw. It was 3rd and 7 at the 11-yard line. The pass was ruled incomplete on the field, Sam.
I love the extension by Hudson. The ball does bobble. I'm just trying to see, does he get his forearms underneath that football?
And is that forearm out of bounds as he corrals it? Timeout on the field. We will step aside and give you the final result of the review after this. Well, a great crowd and great atmosphere back in Fort Worth. Fear the Frog, as they like to say in these parts of the Metroplex. Different story just 35 miles away for SMU and Rhett Lashley. And they upheld the replay review of an incomplete pass. Jordan Hudson unable to catch that football cleanly, and that results in a 4th and 7. And a field goal attempt coming for Sam Keltner, who technically is the backup kicker, but had a better preseason camp. And from 28 yards out, and the right hash, Keltner. It's SMU on the board. In our new score, 7-3, 3:32 remaining in a fast-moving first quarter.
Fresh play presented by Subway. What a start for Syracuse. Steve Angeli finding Justice Ross Simmons.
Clemson won the toss, elected to put their defense on the field first. Syracuse then ripped off a big run, a big pass, and then that touchdown on their first drive.
And they kicked an onside kick, recovered it, added a field goal, Roy.
Kevin, very interesting development there in upstate South Carolina. Meanwhile, back in the Metroplex, 7-3, TCU leading SMU, and the Horned Frogs set to get the football back. So we take a look at today's More Than a Home Team, brought to you by Cracker Barrel. The Frog Walk earlier today, getting this TCU fan base ready to go as the team enters Raymond G. Carter Stadium. And everybody making sure that the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. Jeremy Payne will get a lion's share of the carries today with Kaborian Barnes out. Getting loose and staying loose in that TCU locker room. Meanwhile, Josh Hoover back on the field. Converted the touchdown on 3rd and 17, and that pass ripped out of the air and sent down by Cam Robertson.
Great play by Robertson. One thing about this SMU defense, you do notice their size. I was down on the field. I was walking back up to the booth, and I was like, man, these guys are big. These guys have a good amount of size to them. So that's what they're trying to build as they've transferred into the ACC.
And Robertson from North Texas. You have a Purdue transfer and also one from Mizzou among that front four. 2nd and 10, Hoover under duress, fires it into traffic, and Payne bounces his way for the first down. 12-yard gain. We just saw him in the locker room, now on the football field.
Making the most of his opportunity. He's getting a chance to have more carries, and not just in the backfield as a runner, but also as a receiver. The coaching staff said he can do both, so expect him to get not only the lion's share of touches as a runner, but also out of the backfield.
Fake it to Payne, and Hoover sails it out of bounds looking for McAllister. Jeremy Payne, he's probably one of the smaller players on the field, but unafraid and fearless with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, and he saw the one-on-one matchup. He said, okay, I'm a lot quicker than you, so I'm going to use my quickness to get open. Then I'm going to use that same quickness to get a first down. So you have to use whatever your different strengths are. Some backs are bigger. Some backs have more quickness or elusiveness to them. Use your strengths to find a way to get on the field.
Payne again, up the middle. Late penalty marker. And about a 5-yard gain on 2nd down. Isaiah Smith chopped him down.
Personal foul, face mask, number 1, defense. 15-yard penalty added at the end of the play. Automatic first down.
So you're going to see Isaiah Smith, number 1, with his hands up to the face right there on Jeremy Payne. Jeremy Payne is 5'10", he's 180. Isaiah Smith is a little bit bigger, and so that's why you see you got to be better with your hands.
A little bit bigger, 6'4", 250. Not needed there, and the penalty moves it into SMU territory, and those infractions leading the ACC for Rhett Lashley's club. That was Curtis in motion, leaping grab, the first of the afternoon, in the morning I should say, by Jordan Dwyer. And a 9-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and short.
You're going to see TCU start to go with some of that tempo. Both teams are changing up the tempo. Jordan Dwyer, the transfer from Idaho, had a huge game week 1, but they've spread the football around.
Sammy was 2nd team All Big Sky last year. Trent Battle straight ahead. He'll pick up the first 3-yard gain. TCU has been crispy on offense to begin today.
They have. They've been extremely efficient, and I understand they love to mix it up a little bit, but I wouldn't be afraid to take a shot right now. You're in that high red zone area, so you have space to be able to take a shot down the field to one of your stud receivers.
Nearly perfect balance to start. 8 runs, 7 passes for the Horned Frogs. Battle to the perimeter. And a nice move. 2 flags fly as Battle was able to get to the edge again. Deuce Harmon with a tackle. And a holding call when they gave that run.
Offense, number 60. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
It was Cade Bennett, the senior transfer from San Diego State.
And crazy enough, this actually gives you a little bit more space to maneuver. You know, when you take these shot plays down the field, you usually take them between your 40s. Well, now you're at the 41-yard line. I understand 1st and 20, you want to try and get half of it back, but I wouldn't be afraid to take a shot because this is that shot zone.
A lot of dirty laundry on the field to start. 7 combined penalties. 1st and 20 and a 4-point game. Hoover with time, loops it out of bounds. Dwyer was there, but he was about a yard outside out of bounds line as we check in again with Taylor Davis.
Well, Roy, down here on the TCU sideline following their touchdown, a lot of celebration for Eric McAllister. Yesterday in meetings, head coach Sonny Dykes told us we have to get McAllister going. In week 1, North Carolina really double teamed him, allowed for the emergence of Jordan Dwyer, but they knew with his size and speed, he would be a key piece of this game, looking for him to continue to contribute.
Really is a talented receiving core, Taylor. When you think about McAllister, Dwyer, Manjack, you got the tight ends also doing damage. That was Ed Small. He's a true freshman. Sonny Dykes confirmed to us he was the most talented receiver he thought in the Austin, Texas area going back to the last recruiting cycle. 3rd down and long for the Horned Frogs after a gain of 9.
And your point about McAllister is a good one, Taylor and Roy. He gets behind defenses with his speed, but he's also 6'3", 205. So you can actually do fade balls to him as well because he has the size and the speed to make the play.
Hoover, quick strike. DJ Rogers, short of the line to gain, brought down to the 25. So 4th and medium, Sam, and we've seen TCU go for it. We saw SMU kick the field goal.
And TCU has shown us they're going to be aggressive. That's why they were aggressive earlier on the 4th down. That's why you throw an underneath route that's not going to get you a first down, because you know you have 2 to get it.
4th down and 4. Empty backfield. Hoover ran it in this instant moments ago. Instead, it's DJ Rogers. Inside the 15, another first down.
So the ball has to come out quick when you're expecting pressure. Josh Hoover knows that. You're going to see this pressure on the inside. So what DJ Rogers does is just replaces the pressure. The inside linebacker blitzes, just throw it right behind him.
This is the end of the first quarter.
15 minutes in, TCU a 4-point lead and on the move to start the second when we come back.
Back in Fort Worth, SMU trailing 7-3. Rhett Lashley joins me now. Coach, TCU's been aggressive on 4th downs. How can you get their offense out of rhythm?
Well, we've done a good job getting them behind the sticks. The big 3rd down scramble touchdown hurts. Obviously, they've converted 2 4th downs. We got to get off the field. And then offensively, we settled in, had a really good drive going, shot ourselves in the foot with a penalty, and had to settle for 3. So we're fine. We got to make some plays.
Thanks for the time.
Yep.
Taylor, thank you. And SMU needing to clean up some things. The 11th play of the drive coming up for the Horned Frogs in the red zone of the Mustangs. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. Josh Hoover, the TCU quarterback, to Jeremy Payne around the right side. And belted down after a short gain by Cam Robertson. Both of these teams extremely explosive. TCU 14th in the country in scoring offense. Season opening win in Chapel Hill, they reeled off 41 straight against Bill Belichick's defense. Back of the end zone, a little hand fighting and incomplete. Eric McAllister was in the area, and the coverage was ample by Smoke Robinson.
Yeah, great tight coverage by Jalen Davis Robinson. But that ball looked like it was a little bit either off or a miscommunication. Maybe even a little bit of a hold as well. Look at that back shoulder.
McAllister already with the touchdown. Get TCU on the board earlier. 3rd and 6. Clean pocket for Hoover. Jeremy Payne into the end zone. And it's that easy for Josh Hoover, his 2nd touchdown pass of the day. Sam, you think about the Horned Frogs on 3rd down and 4th down in their first 2 drives. Led by Josh Hoover, he has been electric, and TCU's offense on point. Cashlin on for the PAT. And both of Hoover's touchdowns coming on 3rd down.
And Jeremy Payne is making the most of his opportunity. We talked about his size, 5'10", 180. But watch him out of the backfield. He's going to be matched up against a linebacker. The linebacker's not going to be ready. He tries to fight through the traffic, and unfortunately, he's not able to. As a linebacker, you have to understand that those cut splits mean you could get picked. So you have to go over top or underneath, and Payne knows that as well, so that play is run to perfection.
Josh Hoover, calm, cool, and collected. Our conversation with him yesterday spanning nearly 15 minutes, and there is a confidence about him under the surface I think the rest of America doesn't know much about just yet. And that could be changing right before our very eyes today. Now, don't forget, 22nd ranked Auburn will be Palace of the Prairie, 3:30 Eastern. Tangle with number 11 Oklahoma over on ABC. Later tonight in primetime, the Sunshine State rivalry matchup. Gators and top 5 Miami at 7:30 Eastern. And of course, both are also on the all-new ESPN app, which you can watch from anywhere.
I'm excited about that Oklahoma-Auburn game. John Mateer, Jackson Arnold, they played in high school. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, the return of Jackson Arnold, former OU signal caller for 2 seasons. Sam Bassesi sends it to Link Rose. His 3rd return. Couple of blocks and belted down to the 24. We check in again with Kevin Connors.
Roy Clemson has answered. Trevor making a touchdown in 3 straight games for Bryant Wesco.
And this was a lofted throw that allowed Wesco to run under it.
10-7 game, Roy.
Wesco, a Texas native, back here in Fort Worth, and SMU gets the football back. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. Anything you want to see differently from SMU outside of cleaning up the penalties?
I want to see them get back to their tempo. The first couple games of the season, they operated in a faster tempo. They've slowed it down this time. I want to see them put the pressure back on the defense.
Harden, the running back, coming in from Westwood after 3 seasons at UCLA. Ulerm's Orr, the tackle behind the line, the TFL, and a loss of 1.
It wasn't just him. It was also defensive tackle number 92, Ansel Dimba. He's a transfer as well, back from Washington State. This defensive line is impressive for TCU. That's why the run game hasn't been effective so far.
First down plays for both sides haven't been electric just yet. Off the screen, Romello Brinson. Well, the Miami transfer. Good start to his senior campaign. Gain of 9.
And this is a point where I would have loved for them to try to get back into that tempo. You got a 9-yard gain. You don't need a sub just now. I understand you want to get the right personnel because it's 3rd and 2, so you're bringing in Matthew Hibner, your bigger tight end. But sooner or later, you have to speed up the defense. They're playing extremely too comfortable right now.
Mustangs wanted to run it on 3rd and 2 earlier. Guess what? Another penalty. Kevin Jennings pleading his case, indicating something happened in that TCU defense.
Delay of game, defense. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
So what they're saying is, and what you saw Red Lasher say, is it should have been disconcerting signals. The defense is trying to fake an offensive snap count, and so when they hear that, the offense moves. So we thought it was a false start, but on the field, Kevin Jennings and Red Lasher are saying, no, they are imitating our calls, and that is not allowed. Disconcerting signals, delay of game, give us the 5 yards.
I know you did that in your time in the NFL with the Bears. I could just see you doing that.
What makes you say that?
You're barking out signals, trying to get everybody confused.
I was focused on my own job, Roy Philpott.
Good for you. Play action. Jennings flings it to Brinson. And a nice gain on first down. Romello Brinson upended, crossing the 40. As Kylan Jackson was able to twist him down.
Now, I did do it on special teams. When I was on field goal block, my coach told me, hey, man, as soon as they do their little snap count, you jump backwards and get them to lose 5 yards on the field goal. So, yes, I did it on special teams, but not on defense, man. Give me some credit.
2nd and 5. Jennings wanted it all, sidearms it nearly out of bounds. And it was TJ Harden right off the hip that grabbed it. Not much doing. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, and the back end of the TCU defense is doing an outstanding job. You saw Kevin Jennings try to look off the safety, and the safety doesn't bite. Jennings' eyes are going to be the left. Boom, it doesn't bite. So he tries to run, then he goes to his outlet. The defense, everyone on that defense is in the exact perfect position, not getting fooled by the quarterback's eyes.
Jennings almost went full Gene Garber with the delivery, almost a submarine right-handed toss.
And this is the
Colby gets excited about a play like that, Sam. 3rd down. Some time for Jennings. He'll buy as much as he can off the pump fake again. And Jennings upended hard right at the line to gain. Kylan Jackson laid the lumber. About a yard shy of the first down for SMU.
And it started with the pressure by Devin Deal, but I don't think we have to say it. You got to go for this one, right? Like, it shouldn't even be a question, nor should it be a conversation. They're bringing in some big people, some tight ends into this matchup. SMU, I would bring in the big guys and then throw a play action to the flat. Two tight ends in the game.
And a timeout. Rhett Lashley furious.
Timeout. SMU. Their first time out of the
Step
half.
aside in Fort Worth. Play of the first half coming up next. Point lead for the home team. SMU with a 4th down and 1 from its own 47-yard line coming up. And moments ago, Kevin Jennings chopped down the low hit that came in And right there near the line to gain. I'm not sure if the spot was perfect. Analytics tell you to go for it on 4th and 3 or less.
But the question is where? Are you going inside zone? Are you attacking the outside? I don't trust my offensive line right now to go inside. I want to attack the receivers.
EB in motion. Harden able to keep those legs churning and crossing the threshold there to midfield. A 3-yard gain on 4th and 1.
I like it. You may not trust the offensive line, but you trust your 6'2", 220-pound running back. That was ended up being a good decision. Now, tempo.
This capacity crowd quiets for a moment. Jennings, double coverage. He was looking long. Penalty flag comes out, and a bullet out of bounds is incomplete. And a holding call coming against SMU. Hopefully everybody on the sideline is okay.
Holding. Offense. Number 59. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Sam, in a game that begins with this many penalties, what can you do as a leader or as a coach to make it stop?
Well, it's hard because this is SMU's DNA. Last year, they were the most penalized team in all of college football. They got the most accepted penalties on them. This year, they've started off the same way. So it's not like there's going to be a rah-rah speech that's going to help you. It's the penalties and the yardage on those penalties that is hurting SMU. TCU's been penalized as well, but they've been able to overcome. SMU keeps on making the same mistakes.
Second holding call against the Mustangs. D'Amico Green on the field for the first time. The freshman from Conroe. He'll fake it his direction, swing it outside to Brinson. Looking for one blocker. He'll make something out of nothing crossing the 40. And that's about it.
A great job by Jamel Johnson, the safety, making that tackle. You'll see him in the middle of the field. We also see him out in the flat. So the defense is playing sound. The offense for SMU, they keep on putting themselves in nearly impossible situations.
That pass going backwards, technically a rush for Brinson. 2nd and 16. See if Green get a touch at some point. They want to feed him the football this afternoon. And Yamir Knight back into TCU territory, a gain of 8. Well, you said it early in this game. Field goals are not going to win it. Mustangs already with 1 field goal on the board. You have to think Rhett Lashley, Casey Woods want to be aggressive.
Correct, and so that gives you options on this 3rd down. It gives you a chance to not necessarily attack beyond the sticks, but just like we saw TCU do. On 3rd and 8, you can get 4 or 5 yards, so you can make it a 4th and manageable.
That's what happened on the last occasion. We saw 3rd and 7. It was 3rd and 8, a gain of 7 to set up 4th and 1. Jennings directing traffic, a late delivery, and it's complete. First down and more to Yamir Knight. Sammy was right at the line of scrimmage and delivered it exactly when he had to, with the defense committing to the quarterback.
Yeah, and he had 2 guys open, really 3 options. Kevin Jennings could have ran the ball, could have tossed it to the flat, but instead he wanted to take more than the defense was allowing to give. And so great job by Jennings extending the play, moving laterally, and then finding his open receiver, Yamir Knight.
Gain of 35 on 3rd and long. Chris Johnson Jr. sent down short of the 10 by Devin Deal.
So you see him, he's trying to tell Yamir, hey, turn around, get vertical. No one's on you, you're wide open. Could have thrown it to they had 2 guys open, but great job of Kevin Jennings extending plays. The reason why extending plays is difficult for a defense is that you spend all week practicing against a certain play, and you think you know what play is going to come, and you stop that play. But the problem is the second play. What happens after that first play is stopped and the quarterback extends? That's what makes it difficult for quarterbacks who love to scramble and are accurate.
Jennings in both of those categories. 2nd and 8. In and out goes Knight. Jennings, another pump fake. Matthew Hibner, his first grab inside the 10, and that's it. Jamel Johnson, an outstanding tackle in the lower body. A high 5, and it's 3rd down.
Yeah, Jamel Johnson, 6'1", 200-pound junior from Arlington, Texas. He is everywhere on this defense. He's in the flat, making tackles. He's keeping Jennings from throwing the ball down the field. That's why you haven't seen any explosive plays for for SMU, but more than anything, it's his job on third down to get the defense lined up and make sure to keep them out of the end zone.
On third down, Jennings, sidestep, one defender across the goal line for the touchdown, Matthew Hibner. Kevin Jennings extending that play, and with a defender on his ankle, finds a way.
Not only that, this unbelievable block on the edge. You're going to see essentially Kevin Jennings has more time than he needs, and he gets the ball across his body while he's fading away to the outstretched arms of Matthew Hibner. Great job extending the play and getting that ball to his tight end.
Brett Lashley told us yesterday a lot of 12 personnel against this TCU defense. 2 tight ends on the field with Hibner and R.J. Maryland, outstanding weapons for this offense down the field, Sam. Check the penalty on the PAT after a perfect drive by Jennings. Flag came in late. Make it 14-10.
The try is good. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, kicking team, number 58, his first of the game. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. Timeout.
So Kevin Jennings is going to do things that most quarterbacks can't do. He avoids the blocker. He finds a way to hurdle over somebody, leaning away, falling away, fading away, and Matthew Hibner is making the play.
Well, your trusted broadcasting team hanging out at the Human Performance Center yesterday. Taylor Davis, Roy Philpott, Sam Acho. We really enjoyed the snow room. The only one in North America. A snowball fight ensued with our cameraman Dirk, who's feeling much better after some contact last week. That certainly was great to report. But you can understand why student athletes want to come here to Fort Worth and play at TCU. SMU, the touchdown moments ago. Great time on campus here yesterday.
Oh, it was unbelievable. You and I got a little bit of a workout in at TCU's gym. I'm not going to say who outbenched who, but hint, it wasn't you.
A lot of big dumbbells there for your humble play-by-play man. Ensuing kickoff, John Denman returns it. And upended crossing the 30, back to the studio, and Kevin Connors.
Boy, my money was on you. AT&T is keeping fans connected with our
Kevin Connors, I appreciate the vote of confidence. Meanwhile, what is happening in Clemson, South Carolina? Dabo Swinney paying back Fran Brown for what occurred at the end of the last regular season. Helping get the Tigers into the ACC championship game against these SMU Mustangs. Off the swing, Manjack racing out of bounds short of the 40-yard line.
And Roy, to your point, I've been a little bit surprised by the Clemson defense. I know Manjack had an outstanding play, and he's going to be a key piece in this game, but that Clemson defense hasn't played as good as we thought they would under new defense coordinator Tom Allen.
What about Cade Klubnik? I mean, he clearly has regressed under Garrett Riley this season. Through the line of scrimmage, Trent Battle into SMU territory. Gain of 15 and a first down. The early story in Fort Worth, neither one of these defenses slowing down the opposing offenses.
But one is a lot more aggressive than the other. This TCU offense is so aggressive. They are attacking. You can see it in the way that the plays are being called. They're moving the ball down the field. Last series, 10 passes, 3 runs. Now they're running it more, so they're keeping the defense on their toes.
Backside pressure, Hoover sensing it and was fortunate to maintain possession of the football with Cam Robertson breathing in his ear.
Yeah, Cam Robertson, 6'4", 260. He's number 9 on defense. Does a great job on the edge winning. But I'm even more impressed by Josh Hoover's awareness. This should be a sack fumble right there, but look at Hoover step up in the pocket. Yes, it's a sack. I understand it. Cam Robertson's happy. All defensive ends are happy. But it could have been worse. Could have been sack, fumble, SMU ball. So good play by Robertson. Better play by Hoover.
Loss of 2. Second down and 12. Hoover again, sensing the pressure again. Penalty markers fly on the opposite side of the field as Hoover escapes out of bounds near the 43. DJ Rogers was in the area where both flags came in flying as Hoover took off.
Holding, defense, number 3. 10-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down. 7th
penalty against the Mustangs. We still have 5 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah, this is embarrassing, Roy. I mean, like, how do you think you're going to win a game if you keep on beating yourself? And it's not this, okay, guys, we got to stop penalizing. It's like you got to talk about this stuff in practice every week, every day, because these penalties are tilting the field even more in TCU's favor. Look at them. They're just walking down the field, not even having to earn any of it. You have to be more disciplined if you're SMU, if you want to be competitive and win games like these.
Frogs on the move again. Rhett Lashley back to the drawing board on that SMU sideline. This Iron Skillet rivalry game. 104th meeting between these two. Sonny Dykes said yesterday, didn't even mention the words Iron Skillet this week in practice. It's a trophy that goes to the winning school of this game. Hoover on the move, a low delivery. Ed Small. Positive gain. Right near the sticks. Small, another true freshman along with Terry Shelton. Jacoby Hayes that this staff is very excited about for TCU.
Ed Small, yeah, the true freshman, 6 feet 210 out of Anderson High School in Austin. They are excited about him. They said, Sonny Dykes, like, he's got a little bit of Wes Welker to him. I don't want to say that, but he's got that type of quickness and work ethic.
Well, you just said that, and Sonny Dykes, I'm not sure if he appreciates it or not, but I mean, Small was also a baseball standout and was set to play baseball at Texas before deciding to play football at TCU. There's Nate Palmer. And chopped down by Terry Webb. It'll be 3rd down. No gain on the play.
I know you've been aggressive, but 3rd and 1, just run the football. Run the football, get a first down, and control the clock. There's 4 minutes left in this half. You feel like you're going to score if you're TCU pretty early, but take your time, run the ball. You can do quarterback draw. You could motion the running back in and get an easy first down.
4 blockers in front of Nate Palmer in an unusual formation. They will shift out of.
You got to hurry up, though. That clock is ticking.
2 on the play clock. And handoff to Palmer. Didn't need much. He'll get enough to move the chains.
I know you've had a lot of tempo in this game for both teams, Roy, but now, as much as I can, if I'm TCU, I want to try and slow it down a little bit. I want my touchdown, but I want to try and slow the tempo so that I'm not giving SMU too much time to get the ball back before halftime.
Trent Battle and Jeremy Payne both on the field at the same time for the Horned Frogs. Jordan Dwyer, single coverage, top of your screen. Run the opposite way. Jeremy Payne tumbling out of bounds with Cobia. Able to ignite the contact there. 2nd down after a 4-yard pickup.
And as much, Roy, as this game has felt like it's tilted in TCU's favor, it's still just a 4-point contest. So if you're SMU, you can hold them to a field goal, force a turnover. All of a sudden, now you have the momentum, even though you've played poorly in this first half.
Hoover, end zone. McAllister. And an interception by Smoke Robinson. Well, the frog horn was blowing, indicating a TCU touchdown, but Robinson stole it inbounds.
Pass was intercepted in the end zone for a touchback. First down, SMU.
The LSU transfer, Sam finds a way.
See ball, get ball, and Jalen Davis Robinson sees the ball in the air, in the receiver's hands, and he takes it from him for the interception.
The all-new ESPN app club takeaway in full effect. Some 35 miles from SMU's campus back in Fort Worth. And that defense led by Scott Simons recording its 9th takeaway of this young season. That leads America. Over the right side is TJ Harden. And Jalen Davis Robinson with the interception in the end zone. I mean, that felt like it was more on the receiver not being able to catch that one cleanly, Sam.
And that's why I love the term takeaway, not turnover. A turnover is a dessert. A takeaway is when you steal the ball from the other team. That's exactly what that was. You're seeing Robertson take the ball away from the receiver. There's nothing more, nothing less. So that's what the mentality of a defense has to be. if you want to try to find ways to steal victory from defeat.
Timeout on the field as we step aside the 2-minute stoppage. A great relationship, KC, between Jackson Arnold and current Oklahoma head coach Brent Venables. Arnold 2 years in Norman, now with Hugh Freeze on the Plains in Auburn. And what a storyline that is going into that 3:30 start on ABC. Massive tilts in the SEC between unbeaten programs. Meanwhile, SMU, 8-yard gain by TJ Harden. That's a first down. Devin Deal, the tackle. Mustangs in search their first lead of this ball game. They've got 2 timeouts to work with and plenty of time. Jennings to Harden. Another first down. Into plus territory. Harden still on his feet. Still alive. Churning the legs. Brought down at the 35. Give him 30. And how about the yards after contact?
Well, he made 2 guys miss. Nnamdi Obiazor, number 1, misses a tackle. And then you're going to see Caleb Elarms Orr. When you have a 220-pound running back in the open field, it's a problem for most defenders.
A couple of defenders went on a ride that time. Jennings harassed, up for grabs and out of bounds. Elarms Orr with the pressure again.
And even with that pressure, Roy, I love the tempo. I love the tempo that we're getting. This is a tempo play. Huge run, making guys miss, running people over, showing the mentality that you have for this football game.
You're a linebacker and you get trucked like that. What does that do to you?
I wasn't really getting trucked like that, my friend. I just, had a mindset about you, you know what I mean? I did get stiff arm one time in college when I played A&M. It hurt my feelings, but
hurts the pride.
Hurts the pride.
A rare occasion for the nearly 10-year NFL veteran Sam Ache. Hesitation on the run by Chris Johnson Jr. Will Johnson stopped him after a gain of 3. Clock churning. 2 timeouts for the Mustangs here.
But I love this. Still that muddle huddle. All the offensive linemen are on the ball. You might sub 1 or 2 guys in, but you're not in too much of a hurry. Taking your time. You know that TCU is going to get the ball to start the half, so you don't want to give them an extra possession. But this is a critical 3rd down.
Third and 7. Brinson motions out. And the top receiver for Kevin Jennings so far this season. And Jennings delivers wide of his intended target, Brinson. It'll be 4th and 7.
And I love the decision right now to go and kick the field goal. You and I, Roy, were talking in the break. Man, take your time. If you need 3, go and take 3 points. That way it's a 1-point game, even as poorly as you have played.
All the penalties mounting up against Rhett Lashley's team. And now it's Sam Keltner's turn again. Made his first field goal earlier in the half. This attempt nearly twice as far away from 49. Keltner from Keller, Texas. Redshirt freshman and the backup kicker to start this season. Keltner stoinks it off the upright. They say football is a game of inches. That was an inch away from being a 1-score game.
And it's a game of milliseconds. It looked like Sam Keltner actually stepped a little bit early before the ball was snapped. I don't know if it was nerves or excitement, but he looked like he was a half a second early in his process.
Place kicking has been an issue all season long for the Mustangs. First it was Colin Rogers. He's just 1 for 4. And now Keltner is 1 for 3 to start. And now TCU. 30 seconds to go and all 3 timeouts remaining.
Yeah, this is what Josh Hoover lives for. He's an experienced quarterback, end of half situation. You practice this all the time throughout the week.
Off the spin, the play action fake. Dwyer shoved out near midfield. They'll give him the 46, and that's it. The pressure by Robertson, a gain of 14.
Yeah, but one thing that Josh Hoover did in that is he stood in the pocket and accepted the hit from Robertson. We talked to him yesterday. He said, man, one thing I want to be known for is that I will take a hit for my team. I will sacrifice for my teammates. So Hoover's decision to stay in the pocket, his willingness to accept that hit, is what made that play work.
McAllister motions out. Hoover looking that direction. Pocket collapsing and the pass incomplete. Payne was sitting right in the middle of the field. And it was tipped by Kevin Allen at the line of scrimmage.
And the difficult part, Roy, about these hurry-up situations, I will say, is that these receivers are running all the way down the field. And so all of a sudden, it doesn't work, and now you're tired. You got to get some guys subbed in. The issue is your stud receivers, McAllister and Dwyer, Manjack, you want those guys on the field in this situation. So conditioning is of the utmost importance.
Horned Frogs need about 20 yards here to give McCashlin a chance. Field goal department, Manjack. Now 30 consecutive games with the reception. That is the third highest mark at the FBS level right now. Again, his career at USC, then Houston now with the Horned Frogs, and Hoover with 13 seconds to go, facing a 3rd and 4.
Correct, and I would expect another one of those crossing routes. You don't need a touchdown right here. You can take a first down, then you would call a timeout. You'd have time for 1, maybe 2 more plays. So crossing route, get that first down, maybe go to Manjack again.
Joseph Manjack.
What a name.
Great name for a receiver. On cue, he drops it. The crosser and sandwich between 2 defenders. Wachovia was closing quickly with Ahmad Moses.
Yeah, Isaiah Wachovia made that play. They went back to Manjack, went back on a crossing route. It should have been a catch, but Wachovia did not care. Moses was trailing, but Wachovia attacked the football and forced the incompletion.
So on 4th down, 9 seconds to go, Ethan Crawl, the TCU punter, on the field for the first time today. That's a win for the SMU defense. Crawl almost straight up in the air, angling out of bounds. Nearly hit the edge of the TCU student section. Well, a 4-point game with 1 second to go gives us a moment to remind you WrestlePalooza is our first WWE Premium Live event. It goes down tonight, featuring John Cena squaring off against Brock Lesnar in the main event. Unlock your access and stream it exclusively on the ESPN app with the ESPN Unlimited plan. And on game day earlier today, how about Nick Saban, the GOAT, giving Pat McAfee the John Cena?
You can't see me. And look at McAfee's reaction. He's like, Nick Saban, of all people, I thought you were the most serious human in the world. But now Nick Saban, he's proud of himself, right? You see him laughing, joking.
Somewhere, Miss Terry probably cringing watching her husband, but we all enjoy it. What a great addition he has been to College Game Day. 1 second remaining on the swing. That'll do it. Entertaining first half, sloppy at times. And the home team, a 14-10 advantage. The game, the battle for the iron skillet. TCU will get the ball in the second half. Boy, a halftime report right now. Here's Kevin Connors, Trevor Match. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Tums on this Saturday afternoon in Fort Worth, Texas. TCU leading SMU 14-10. Start of our 3rd quarter as we take a look at our first half stats. Brought to you by Tums and a quarterback comparison, Sam Acho.
Yeah, these quarterbacks have been impressive, specifically through the air. Not much on the ground yet, but they've shown their stuff.
Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis joins us on the sidelines in just 1 minute. It was a highlight reel of sorts in our first 2 quarters today, especially at the quarterback position, as we take you out your mind to start our second half today.
We're going to start with Josh Hoover, because Josh Hoover made some throws that made me go out-show mind. Starting off with his touchdown on 3rd and 15, he avoids the pressure, points to his receiver, takes a hit, and Eric McAllister does the Rex. Makes the catch, avoids the tackle, gets in the end zone for his first touchdown of the year. But it's not just him, it's also Kevin Jennings. TJ Hart, the offensive running back, great block. Kevin Jennings avoids, evades, eludes, and makes a cross-body throw to Matthew Hibner for the tud. And then a celebration. We need a celebration like that, Roy. Let's go out your mind.
We do. We'll have to work on that. Maybe our next workout next week, wherever we end up. That should be fun. Fun start for the home team here at Amon G. Carr Stadium, as Horned Frogs have found a way to a 4-point lead. Important to point out, too, both teams miss opportunities at the end of that first half. SMU, a field goal off the right upright from 49 with Keltner off the mark. And TCU with a chance. Drive that was thwarted near midfield as Denman Chopped down at the 25. Taylor Davis caught up with both head coaches at halftime. Taylor?
Yeah, I did, Roy. I'll start with TCU's Sonny Dykes, who told me he was feeling good until the last 4 minutes of that half when his team's execution went down. He said, I'm putting an emphasis on how we start this second half, being that we received. He said the turnovers will be crucial. 5 turnovers for TCU in this matchup last year. He was putting an emphasis on that at the half. Now, for Rhett Lashley and SMU, he said both defenses are limiting explosives. You can tell it was a point of practice this week. He said they're making us drive the entirety of the field. We've got to get in the end zone. He said we're moving it well, but the penalties are getting us off schedule. We can't be in third and medium when we are beating ourselves with holding penalties. He addressed that at the half, continues to lean on Kevin Jennings' ability to extend plays.
And the penalties were atrocious various moments in those first 2 quarters. Eric McAllister's play has been exceptional. Gain of 17. First down for the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, and despite all the penalties, it's still a one-possession game. So this series is going to be extremely important for SMU to be able to stop or slow down TCU and get the ball back.
Hoover wanted to get rid of it quickly, couldn't do it. Pocket collapsing and nearly intercepted. A late toss across the middle. That's a no-no for a quarterback. And the pressure coming in with Isaiah Smith and Cam Robertson.
Yeah, and you saw the pressure, so the pocket has been collapsed. But I don't know if safety Jalen Milner-Jones knows that that ball's going to be that far overthrown. He seemed like he was surprised by it, but that's a big-time missed opportunity on a near interception.
Yards piled up for both sides in the first half. The points didn't after an interception by Hoover in the end zone. That missed field goal late by SMU. Imba a tackle. It's 3rd down and long.
And those opportunities, Roy, just going back to that point, you can't miss those, right? Even if you don't expect it, you got to be ready for it, because if Hoover is going to give you the ball, you have to take it to try and get this lead back and force this game into more of a high-scoring game, which plays more in, I believe, SMU's favor.
3rd down, Hoover off the back foot, nearly picked off again. Now closing quickly for SMU is Deuce Harmon, who at times has struggled in his first 3 games this year. He did not there and read the quarterback beautifully.
Correct. He's been soft in coverage, but this is not an opportunity to be soft. That's one you got to pick. I understand it'd be a highlight Sports Center top 10 pick, but you undercut the route just like you're taught, just like you're supposed to, but don't go up with one hand, go up with 2 and take it to the house. Those are 2 missed opportunities by the SMU defense.
It was 7v7 and the defensive 7 came through. Just the 2nd punt of the game for TCU. Fair catch made by Ymir Knight. Mustangs get it back. Just underway in our second half. 1 possession game.
Back and forward, TCU leading 14-10. It may be a rivalry game day, but both programs have put their differences aside today to honor the Bonner family. Lila Bonner tragically lost her life at just 9 years old during the July 4th flooding at Camp Mystic. She happily cheered on both the Mustangs and the Horned Frogs, as Dad Blake is a TCU alum, Mom Caitlin is an SMU alum. Both universities hosted them here today. They were down on the sideline taking in pregame. Younger sister Scarlett was given a TCU jersey with Lila's name on the back. Her legacy lives on through their foundation, Lila's Light, saving animals and pets who were affected by natural disaster. I asked Dad Blake, what do you want people to know and remember about Lila? And he said she loved cheering on the Horned Frogs, and she's smiling down on us here today.
A great report, and certainly doing so with this atmosphere in this game. Thoughts and prayers with everybody impacted by those devastating floods.
Roy, if you read some of the story about Lila, they talked about how she would bring people together, SMU fans and TCU fans with the parents going to different schools. So it's so good to see the support.
After the incompletion, TJ Harden upended. And a short gain. Give him 2. Austin Jordan got him to the turf quickly. It's 3rd down.
And you see Kevin Jennings asking for, hey, let's speed this thing up. Let's get our personnel in. Let's make the substitutions. Let's try and steal some of this momentum back. We've seen the SMU defense answer the call and answer the bell. Now it's time for their offense to do the same. Kevin Jennings is going to get a chance to use his legs again, but maybe not to run the ball, but to extend it horizontally and find a receiver down the field.
RJ Maryland is yet to be called upon today in the slot. The massive tight end coming back from an ACL injury. Horned Frogs show pressure. Kevin Jennings retreating. Bottles up and now goes down at the 5. And Jennings remains down on the turf after a loss of 13. Remember, battling the ankle injury. Rhett Lashley estimated with us yesterday at around 80 to 85%. And the pocket collapsed quickly deep in SMU territory. And Jennings has yet to get up.
Yeah, you're going to see the great pressure by Deal and by Elarm Zor, the linebacker, 6'3", 230. But the tough part about that hit is that Jennings didn't even see it coming. I was talking to E.J. Manuel, first-round pick quarterback, played at Florida State. He said the worst hits are the ones that you don't see because your body's limp. As you see, Jennings is limping off the field. So we'll keep an eye out on that as this game progresses.
Well, the offense would change if Ty Hawkins was on the field. You see Jennings' numbers so far. He really hasn't been called upon to run the football early in his redshirt junior season. Ty Hawkins certainly a dual threat. Has to be thinking about what could be coming, and we'll check on the status of Kevin Jennings. Wade McSparron on for the Mustangs, standing deep in his own end zone. End over end to Jordan Dwyer. Falling backwards, will catch it cleanly. Outstanding field position for TCU and Josh Hoover. Our final Sunday night baseball matchup of the regular season, an important clash between Seattle and Houston. Top two teams in the AL West, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. On ESPN, ESPN Deportes, also on ESPN Radio, and our coverage begins at 6 Eastern on ESPN2, right here with Baseball Tonight. Sunday night countdown. You see the Mariners after a 4-0 win last night. Right there at the top, and a 1-game advantage over the Houston Astros. Rangers, of course, play their ball just down the street, right in between Fort Worth and Dallas. Best starting field position of the game for TCU by some 14 yards.
False start, offense, several players. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's a microcosm of the start in this game for both sides.
But it's an efficiency of words. Could have named all the guys, several players. Everybody but the center.
You can't remember all those numbers.
And I will say this, Roy. It seems as if the mindset has changed. SMU's defense is playing a lot more aggressive this half. TCU offensively hasn't been able to get anything going. So I believe you need to go to Hoover and trust him to spark the offense.
Battle for the iron skillet. Hoover zips it incomplete to McAllister. He came back for it. The ball hit him right on the number 1 in the chest. Brandon Booker was there and may have interfered with the line of sight.
Yeah, Brandon Booker has his zone coverage. His eyes are on the quarterback, and so he just tries to dart in front of McAllister and maybe get a fingertip on the ball. But that defense is playing just a step quicker than they were in the first half. So I'm not sure what Rhett Lashley told them at halftime. Whatever it is, it worked.
Scott Simon said we have to bend but don't break in this game. McAllister on the crosser. Big play. Still in bounds and shoved out near the 10.
Bend but don't break. That might have been a little bit too much bending. You see the time in the pocket for Josh Hoover, and it's a zone, and they just right in between that zone. That's a dig route right behind both linebackers, and that's a soft spot of the defense. Every defense has one soft spot. Hoover found it.
Longest play of the afternoon, 48 yards to McAllister off the pump fake. McAllister again. So for a moment you wondered if the ball was going to pop out. It did not, and a physical reception near the 2-yard line. Deuce Harmon able to bring him down and stop momentum.
And that's a matchup that we got to even keep a bigger eye on. Deuce Harmon was playing soft in coverage early in this season. He's been challenged. You see him playing a lot tighter and a lot tougher. Look at that physical hit by Harmon there, near interception the last series. So whether it's him on McAllister or Dwyer, he's going to be a focus. See McAllister right there trying to catch his breath from getting beat up like that.
TCU has led from the jump, looking for more. On second down, here's Hoover into the flats. Manjack has it, tries to shed one defender and another across the goal line. Yes! A man amongst boys. Joseph Manjack, the fourth, found a way into the end zone.
And there was an opportunity to stop him. Jaden Milner-Jones had a chance to make a tackle, but he didn't. Try to hold on for dear life, ask for some friends to come. But if you let go, Manjack's going to find the end zone. Great effort by Manjack.
The left arm to maintain balance, to reach the right arm with the pigskin across the goal line. Awfully impressive for the transfer. 2 stops along the way before Fort Worth, USC, and Houston. Joseph Manjack.
Well, we knew they'd be calling his number. Joseph Manjack answered the call, got out of the tackle, and found the end zone. 21-10, TCU.
Now, some very big names a part of this Iron Skillet rivalry. You saw Slinging Sammy Baugh revolutionizing the forward pass to Andy Dalton for TCU, the Rose Bowl MVP. And back here in Fort Worth, it is all Horned Frogs, a 2-score advantage just underway to begin our second half. Samacho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. Raymond G. Carter Stadium, the place to be, in a great atmosphere. Fort Worth, they call it Funky Town. This crowd has been on point to begin. Final edition of this Iron Skillet rivalry, meeting number 104 between the two sides. Through the end zone, Taylor Davis, what is the latest with Kevin Jennings?
Well, Roy, he's taking the field right now, but he did spend time in the medical tent. They were evaluating that left leg. He came out, gave 2 thumbs up immediately. The trainers had him do some walking and jumping along the sideline. He was fine with it, gave more thumbs up. The guys watching him walk onto the field just now, he is favoring that left leg. He's walking with a bit of a limp. So even ahead of this hit, the coaches told us he may be at 75% in that regard. Definitely something to keep an eye on, as it's a huge piece of his game.
It's a quarterback that led SMU to the college football playoff a season ago, off to a good start today. Highlight reel touchdown toss in the second quarter of this game. ESPN College Football presented by Tom's on first down. Over the right side is TJ Harden. Sam, the defense has so far been maybe a step ahead or faster than the offenses in a track meet that we expected. It has not materialized just yet.
Well, part of it's because the defense may be a step ahead, but the offenses are stepping back. They're penalizing themselves. Both offenses have holdings or false starts that are causing them delay.
Jennings fires it to Jordan Hudson. Hudson back with the injured elbow on play 1 of this season in Chapel Hill. Give him 3 yards, and quickly it's third down.
And the difference in this third down than others is Kevin Jennings. In the past, he'd be able to run laterally and maybe even run for a first down. That last play, he wasn't, at least, didn't look excited to try to move out of the pocket.
And it was against East Texas A&M, not at UNC, where TCU won that season opener. Third down and 6. Pocket is there. Safety valve is too. TJ Harden going to be stopped about 2 yards shy of a first down. And a late flag comes in on the TCU sideline. A little extracurricular activity.
I know they're discussing what's about to happen, but whenever we get a chance, we got to show what Max Carroll just did on that last play.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct in the bench area, TCU number 33, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. That's number 33's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
And you mentioned Max Carroll, the sophomore from Memphis. Let's see.
Well, one-on-one open space, has to make the play. He makes the play. That is the textbook. You can't do any better. What's not textbook is going and taunting an opponent after the play. So you were great before the play, Max. 6'3", 230. You have the size, the speed, the strength, open field tackle. But after the play, you have to have a level of self-control to not go and celebrate in your opponent's face. That was a critical third down stop. Now you've given them free yardage.
What would have been consecutive 3-and-outs forced by this TCU defense. Play caller Andy Avalos. Great job he's done. RJ Maryland, first time we've called his name, and the tight end back from the ACL tear. Close to another first down. In fact, give him 10, and the drive continues for the Mustangs.
Correct, but TCU defender safety Jamel Johnson could have intercepted that ball, but he didn't know what to do. He saw the 6'4", 240-pound tight end. He's like, man, I can't go around him. He's too big, he's too wide. I can't go through him. He's too strong. So that was the size of RJ Maryland is what stood out on that play.
Great to see him back and healthy. Kevin Jennings across the line of scrimmage, now will run it. Bad ankle and all, no problem. A first down inside the 30.
That's brave, man. I mean, like you could tell he's not running at full speed. That looks like 75% of Kevin Jennings. But to not slide, to not go down, and to say, you know what, I know I'm injured, I know I'm hurt, but I'm going to play through it for my team. That speaks to the leadership and the confidence that he's going to instill in everyone else.
He wasn't looking to get out of bounds there either.
No, nor was he looking to slide. He could have slid at the first down. He could have slid when he saw defenders, but instead he ran through contact. And so I'm impressed by that, but I think his teammates need to now step up for him if they know he's going to put his body on the line for them.
Pop pass to the edge. Derek McFall gets a touch. Reserve running back, a redshirt freshman from Tyler, Texas. And a gain of 6.
And we're seeing a little bit of that tempo start to speed up just a little bit. SMU's trying to keep TCU a little bit confused by their tempo.
Chris Johnson Jr. on second and short. Stop near the line to gain. 3-yard pickup. It'll be third down. Less than a yard to go. Coming on the final spot. Just inside the 20.
And sorry about that, Ro, but even now, I'm looking at Kevin Jennings, right? I played outside linebacker. I'm looking at this quarterback, and he still has a little bit of a limp to his step. That doesn't mean he's not going to run it. Doesn't mean that they're not going to have a passing play. I expect them to run right here, but just keep an eye out on Jennings as this game goes on.
TJ Harden through the hole on his feet. First down and goal for SMU. Now Kevin Jennings going to pull a Haynes King here in Fort Worth.
Yeah, and look at number 44, Stone Eby, with a great block. That's a zone insert, a zone cut. His job is to essentially cut out the edge player from the play. So he does that, and that's why that play was able to be so effective.
Jennings racing over to the sideline to get the play call. Now back in the SMU huddle on first and goal. Pivotal moment in this game, the battle for the iron skillet. Mustangs won it last year, scoring 66 in the process. TJ Harden, a stutter step, and that slowed him down near the line. Himba was able to get there. No gain on the play.
Yeah, Ansel Dimba, 6'3", 305, junior from Aledo, Texas, transferred from Washington State. He's one of the many dominant defensive linemen on this TCU defense. But what stood out to me more than the defensive linemen has been the running game. Like, SMU's been committed to running the football. They have not veered away, even though it's a 2-score game.
Jermico Green, the SMU running back. Very high on his potential. Jennings in zone, breaking open and caught. Ymir Knight for the touchdown. Kevin Jennings all the way back after what appeared to be aggravation to that ankle injury. 75 yards in 10 plays.
And this is similar to Kevin Jennings' touchdown pass earlier in the game. He's fading one way, throwing it the other, but his receiver, Ymir Knight, number 8, is making a play for his quarterback. That's how you make a catch and not drop a ball like we saw earlier that forced that interception.
It was on Bud Clark, too, who has been outstanding for TCU this season. You go back to the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on third down, which should have been a stop for the Horned Frogs. Turns out to be a touchdown for the Mustangs.
Kevin Jennings is putting the team on his back. Got injured earlier in the game. He came in injured, and he throws a dime to Ymir Knight for the touchdown. Outstanding job by the SMU Mustangs.
Now the new 12-team college football playoff will be here before you know it. Back in Fort Worth, Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, and Taylor Davis. One-score game, battle for the iron skillet. And just down the road from Grapevine, Texas, where you think about the college football playoff, the committee will meet. And earlier this week, our colleagues, our friends here at ESPN, participating, including our own Sam Acho, Courtney Lyle, a part of that mix, and all smiles as you went through the selection process. And hopefully, Sam, it wasn't too heated, but certainly a learning experience for all involved.
Well, it was definitely heated, but it was so much fun to understand how the committee thinks through ranking teams. Yes, head-to-head matchup matters and relative scoring offense matters, but it's about your play on the field. So being a part of that exercise was a lot of fun.
I could see you arguing with some folks in the midst of some of those conversations. And I mean that in the most positive way imaginable. But you have your opinions, and certainly all of them did as well, as we take a look at this week's college football rankings. Brought to you by Goodyear, and later tonight down in Miami Gardens, the Hurricanes and the Gators. What do you think?
Man, Miami's defense has been playing outstanding, as has Carson Beck. And with DJ Lagway from Florida through 5 picks last week, I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think Carson Beck, that offense, is going to be too much for Florida and their D.
Ruben Bain has been impressive for the U, and that was a great environment and scene for College Game Day earlier today. Inside give to Battle, breaks a tackle, and springs free. It'll be 3rd and 2.
I'm excited, Roy, to see if, I was going to say when or how, but better question is if TCU's offense decides to wake up again. I understand they had, they got some points early in this half, but they've been inconsistent in the second half. That first 2-3 series, they were running up and down the field, but since then, SMU has put the pressure on. So I'm expecting a little bit more of that pressure here on this 3rd down.
No Kavorian Barnes, the starting running back. Trent Battle in, flanking Josh Hoover. He'll motion out on 3rd and 2. Hoover surveys. Pass is corralled and a first down. Manjack. Well, touchdown earlier in the half. He'll pick up 5 on 3rd and 2 here.
Correct. He's been the safety valve. This is a 3-man rush, so 8 people are in coverage. Manjack sees the zone, and he runs away from the zone. Great job by Hoover finding his security blanket, if you will, for the first down.
14 in white and purple, a bachelor's degree in psychology. And using his mind and his route running to inflict damage on SMU's defense so far today. Battle against the grain, a first down and more. Into SMU territory, rumbles down to the 35. And a gain of 27 on the ground for TCU.
You're going to see Battle here go all the way back across the ball. The ball's supposed to go right. It's not available. He gets stopped, but instead, he finds green grass over to the left. So every one of these running backs is making the most of their opportunity.
Well, Battle has been here in Fort Worth for a long time. And feed him one more time, he'll lose a yard. Trent's father, Alan, played Major League Baseball with the Cardinals and with the A's. Athletic family. And stepping in for Barnes, who is injured, and chances are we'll see Kavorian Barnes perhaps back next week, the transfer from UTSA. But it's a crowded running back room for the Horned Frogs this season.
It is, but we talked to Sonny Dykes about the loss of Kavorian Barnes this game. He said, man, we have backs who we trust, and Trent Battle is one of them. He says, I don't feel like we're going to miss too much, and we're seeing some of those trusted backs make trusted plays.
Jeremy Payne also trusted. And Smallwood in motion. Hoover, they'll set up the screen. Corralled by Payne, out of the air. Inside the 30. Slow developing screenplay and a 7-yard pickup.
That was like a floater. You run in the lane like Steph Curry, just a floater in the lane. Watch, Hoover knows he wants the defense to get upfield. Just floats the ball like a teardrop over their heads. Near first down.
We asked Josh Hoover yesterday, how are you so accurate? He said, I started throwing the football and the baseball and all kinds of balls that you could give me as soon as I can remember. Through the tire, finding a target, finding a way. In different sports. He was a pitcher playing baseball growing up as well, one of his first loves. A 4-yard gain here and a first down for TCU.
And it speaks to your point, Roy, about time on task. Repetition can build and breed confidence. And so for him as a quarterback, he's probably made every throw you could imagine since he's been a little kid. We even asked him, I said, was there a time you can remember not throwing? He said, dude, I don't remember not throwing a football, baseball, basketball, something. And so now you're seeing it pay off because all those repeated reps.
On first down, the RPO looking for Dwyer, incomplete. The other thing with Hoover, when we sat down with him, I said, Josh, not a lot of people talking about TCU. And I paused for a second. I said, there's not a lot of people talking about Josh Hoover. And he said, really? And I said, yes. And I said, we were talking on satellite radio all summer. I didn't mention your name once. And he said, what's your problem then? He said, where do I cut the check? But he hasn't been paying attention to the lack of headlines.
But he knows he'll get that opportunity. A big game here, and then this Friday they play Arizona State. They'll have their chance.
And penalty flag comes in. And second and long.
All start offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty, second out.
That is a microcosm of this TCU program. We check in again with Taylor Davis.
Well, Roy, to your point about kind of the moxie and the quiet confidence that we saw in the meeting room yesterday, it is exactly how he is down here on the sidelines. It's how he interacts with his guys. It's how he talks to his coaches. You talk about not caring about the lack of headlines. I don't think he would care if there were the headlines either. He is so one-track minded, and he told us this isn't a team full of guys chasing attention. That's not what he's about.
It's a rancher in the offseason. He'll get away from the game. A little hunting, a little fishing. Behind Dwyer here. And it's 3rd and 15.
Yeah, it was behind him, Roy, but that ball was definitely catchable. I understand you want to put it a little bit more catchable, but that went right through Dwyer's hands. It's a difficult catch, I get it. But you want to and have to make those plays. Going back to Josh Hoover, Taylor, and your point, he's just cool. Like, you just trust him. That's what you feel. That's what I felt when I was in that meeting with him, a guy who gets along with everybody.
2 third-down conversions on this drive so far for TCU. 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 4. This time, the Horned Frogs need 15. Hoover, flush, down the field. Man-to-man coverage. Did he catch it? He did not. Out of bounds. Sam, there have been 2 close calls in the end zone, both involving Eric McAllister. William Nettles in coverage this time.
Yeah, but this time Eric McAllister actually high pointed the ball. Last time he let it go too low. This is what we call high point. Catch the ball at its highest point. The only issue is that left foot may have been on the line. And if it's on the line, it's first foot down, then it's out of bounds.
Nate McCashlin on the field for the moment.
Oh, Roy. So I'm just going to react to something. So we're in the stadium. The fans at TCU are cheering. Why? Because they're looking up at the big screen that's showing the replay that looks like McAllister's foot is in bounds. The offense or the kicking team is trying to kick the field goal, but this needs to be reviewed. This needs to be reviewed.
An ACC officiating crew, Sonny Dykes, asking for exactly that. Would be a 47-yard field goal attempt. TCU calls the timeout, and the question is there indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field of an incomplete pass?
I believe there is, but we need a better angle. We need whoever got the scoreboard operator. We need that angle, because that angle showed, at least to me, that there was a little bit of space between McAllister's left leg and the sideline. And if that's the case, this actually would be a touchdown, because looks like the ball is caught, left leg, at least based on angles that the referees may have, looks like it's in bounds. And then that ball would have crossed the plane of the end zone, right? This angle, it's hard to see with the shadow. The referees have different access to different angles. If so, this should be a touchdown, because the ball would cross the plane of the end zone. That's that front part of the end zone.
Remember, it goes to the game day operations.
TCU.
In Charlotte, in coordination with a replay official in the booth today here in Fort Worth, Jess Patterson. They will collaborate to see if there's anything that needs to be adjusted here for the TCU timeout. In the meantime, McCashlin is on the field to attempt the 47-yard field goal. Our best look perhaps right here.
And to your point, Roy, this is our best look, but the officials have different angles that we may not have full access to. And with some of those angles, the question is it indisputable?
We were given no indication that this went to a replay review. TCU called the timeout with the play clock winding down, wanting that sequence to be reviewed. And McCashlin on the field to attempt the 47-yarder. Just a regular timeout called there by the Horned Frogs.
I'm a little bit surprised right now, because usually catch, no catch can be reviewed. That's why Sonny Dykes called a timeout before the field goal team went on. It's a critical call.
Kyle Lemmerman, the starting kicker for the Horned Frogs, banged up. McCashlin's effort is wide right from 47. And SMU gets the stop somehow, some way.
We talk about it being a game of inches, but I'm with the fans on this one, man. I'm with the whole team. I'm looking at this scoreboard operator, and it looked as if that should have been a catch.
Little controversy for the Iron Skillet, the final edition, number 104. Well, the Mustangs get the football back with a chance, a touchdown to grab their first lead of this game, and Kevin Jennings, last-minute instructions from Rhett Lashley, injured ankle and all. His last drive, Sam, he was just about perfect. In fact, he was 5 for 5. And the 14-yard run to pick up the first down. Right side run. Demir Knight. Tackle. Oyewale.
And this is when I would turn up the tempo, Roy, if I'm SMU. You just had a momentum-shifting play, and then you forced a missed field goal. Now turn up the heat. Get the defense rattled. Take a few more shots down the field.
Kevin Jennings will be fine with that. Heaves it incomplete. Now the fastball was wide of the strike zone. As Demir Knight slid down to try to grab it, he could not. 3rd and 8.
And that was Demir Knight's fault. It was a zone. Demir Knight has to sit in the zone. He has to understand that you cannot run into coverage. Kevin Jennings is trying to keep him away from a big hit. So Knight, in the next situation, has to be able to sit.
Ponies need 8. Jennings off the back foot. Tight end came back to retrieve it. Well short of the first down for Matthew Hibner. And McIver in coverage. Javon right on top of that play. 4th down.
And you gotta punt this one. I mean, I saw the offense staying on the field, but if you don't get this first down, you're giving the defense an opportunity to get the ball back in field goal range. So great stop by TCU and their defense to force
Sam,
a
it's
punt.
a game involving an Iron Skillet. You expect a little controversy, perhaps overcooking the ham on that attempted touchdown strike moments ago. McSparrett, Jordan Dwyer with the fair catch. Tomorrow, Sunday NFL Countdown returns. Randy Moss reunites Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson for a conversation before they square off on Sunday. Plus, all access with Jared Verse, the Rams Trash Talk King, and a look back at the aftershocks of the Beastquake. Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 Eastern on ESPN.
I don't know, that was 15 years ago. Marshawn Lynch just running through folks.
How much fun was he to watch?
Dude, he was hard to play against. Talk about getting run over. Like, I would say, guys, help, because I don't want him to run over me.
He's here so he won't get fined. 4-point lead, 26 seconds to go in the 3rd. Josh Hoover gets it back. And you wonder if this is the moment where Scott Simons would like to dial up some pressure if he gets TCU to 3rd down. Late handoff, Jeremy Payne. Lasso backwards at the 15. Short game. Arizona led the charge that time for SMU. Should be the final play of our 3rd quarter. Well, a 4-point lead at halftime. The two sides exchange touchdowns and pleasantries, if you will, in this 3rd quarter. Horned Frogs have it deep in their own territory with a 4-point lead. 15 minutes to play after this.
Back at Fort Worth, TCU with a 21-17 lead. Sonny Dykes with me now. Coach, a 4-point game, 1 quarter to go. What changes the momentum of this game?
Well, we just got to quit making mistakes. Right now, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit. We got to have too many penalties, too many 2nd long, 3rd long situations. Got to do a better job getting ahead of the chains. Not quite sure what happened on the touchdown. I mean, it was pretty clear the guy caught the ball in bounds. I don't really know, but anyway, we got to get past it.
Thanks for the time.
I mean, that play is going to be talked about around these parts for a long period of time, especially if SMU is able to come back and win this game. Two huge plays in opposite corners of the end zone here at Raymond G. Carter Stadium involving Eric McAllister. On cue, a drop on the slant makes it 3rd and long. So one more look at that non-touchdown sequence where McAllister, you wonder, did he stay in bounds this entire time? And you see the foot coming down right near the sideline, Sam, and it's a play that was ruled incomplete on the field and was not overturned nor altered in any way. ACC does take a look at all of those plays. On 3rd down, a big completion and a first for TCU. Jordan Dwyer right on top of William Nettles, and the drive continues. You tell me, Sam, did he step out earlier after the toss by Josh Hoover?
And as I'm looking, I don't see him step out. Looks like McAllister maybe right there at the 10-yard line. Maybe he stepped out there.
But he establishes himself back in. Hoover under duress, penalty marker, dangerous toss, and incomplete. Double coverage near the 46 to Ed Small. And 2 flags back at the 25 and 17-yard lines. Now, Sonny Dykes just told Taylor Davis, we've got to limit our mistakes.
There are 2 fouls on the play by the offense, both holding. Number 55 is declined. Number 70 is accepted. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
And Terry Webb injured on the field for SMU.
He's one of their defensive studs, 6'3", 313, transfer from Texas State.
Scott Simons was excited to see his defense on the field with just one returning starter from last year's team, and Isaiah Wacobia. Didn't feel like they closed out the Baylor game the way that they needed to in a double overtime loss, trying to protect a 2-touchdown lead late. And they have responded fairly well so far today, and a lot of football still left.
Now, I've been impressed, Roy, by SMU's defense. We saw it seemed like it took them a while to get their feet underneath them. But maybe it's a play of that captain. You see the C on his chest, Kevin Jennings, the quarterback, that's inspiring the guys around him.
And Webb being helped to his feet. 5th-year senior from Galveston, Texas. You mentioned the transfer from Texas State. A couple of seasons in San Marcos. A stop at Kilgore College. And a good sign for the Mustangs. First down and 20 coming up. Both teams get a chance to collect their breath for a moment. Two running back look. Rare occasion that's been the case today. Trent Battle, Jeremy Payne. Will follow Eric McAllister. The ball tends to follow him. This time on the ground, and Payne around the right edge. Ahmad Moses, nickel spot, stops him after a gain of 3.
This is the tough part we talked about earlier in this game, Roy. If you get a holding penalty, a 3-yard gain doesn't really do you much. On first down, you get to 2nd and 7. But now it's 2nd and 17. Defense knows it's pass. They can tee off and try to get a sack on the quarterback.
It's 2 old Southwest Conference rivals toe-to-toe one last time. Hoover's going to be sacked back at the 12. Imba and Isaac Smith.
So number 6, Jeffrey Mba. Number 1, Isaiah Smith. You're going to see this is a coverage sack. Isaiah Smith's on the outside. He's going to run somewhat of a pass rush game, but it's not by design. He's just trying to win, and then Mba goes inside, and Smith comes underneath. That's called a text game generally, but that's a natural text. Hey, Mba, rush upfield. I will cover you. Beautifully run, natural pass rush game, but better coverage for a covered sack.
A holding penalty keeps it at 3rd down and extremely long. Horned Frogs need 23. Hoover knows it underneath. DJ Rogers back to the original line of scrimmage. A 4-point game in the SMU defense after the holding penalty assist, forcing the quick punt by TCU.
And that seems like an inconsequential play, Roy, but if you think about it, those 7 to 10 yards that TCU just gained is a big change when it comes to field position. If you would have taken another sack or gotten no yards, that ball would be, the punt would be being received around the 45 or so yard line. Now the punt returner's back at his own 30-yard line after that 13-yard gain.
Ethan Crawl. Amir Knight, the fair catch, fighting the sun at the 34. And a punt of 41 yards. Coming up, Kevin Jennings, the captain, led the Ponies to the playoff a year ago. He is back, trying to find a way to rally his team on the road.
Though 7 of 7 in his place.
Interesting. So Baron Morton out in Lubbock against the Utes and Devin Dampier. Back here in Fort Worth, inside handoff on first down for SMU. TJ Harden, a little shake and bake, give him 3. Ponies trailing by 4. And remember, you can't say pony up anymore, according to the press release that we saw earlier this week from Dallas.
You just did. You just said, I'm not going to say it, but you kind of.
You called me out correctly.
But I will say this, Roy, going to back to the game, I wonder if TJ Harden and his weight and his size is going to start to wear on the defense of TCU. He's 220 pounds. He's 6'2", built like a linebacker. That's something to watch out for as much as you want to see them throw the ball down the field.
It's been effective. UCLA transfer. Jennings off the back foot, lofts it, racing underneath to make the catch is Romello Brinson. Sam, I didn't think he had a chance. Then he turned on the jets, and he picked up 30 in the process.
I don't know how he did that. Romello Brinson had completely stopped in his route. You thought the quarterback was going to be sacked by Devin Deal, but the level of acceleration and focus and concentration by the transfer of Brinson was outstanding.
Ensuing play, Chris Johnson Jr. stopped by Kylan Jackson. Came up from his nickel position and a loss of 2.
Yeah, that's what we talk about when that second play. The first play was done. It was a hitch route. The hitch route was covered. But what Kevin Jennings decided to do was to trust his receiver for the second play. Threw it up where only Brinson could get it, and Brinson went out and got it.
Jennings off platform with the delivery, and somehow just enough loft under it for Brinson to catch it. Play clock winding down, in motion quickly is Hibner. Jennings confident in the pocket, seam route, there it is, and the SMU touchdown. Jordan Hudson is all the way back, and the Mustangs have their first lead of this football game.
The SMU touchdown from the TCU transfer. Jordan Hudson is the leader of this offense. The whole coaching staff said, man, if we can get him back for 10 plays, 15 plays, 20 plays, we'll take him. He hurt his elbow in the first game. That thing looks good as new.
The elbow is fully protected. There is nothing easy about what he's doing on the field today after a full dislocation in game 1.
And nor is there anything easy about what you're going to see TJ Harden do. He's a running back, number 27. He picks up this blitz, and he allows Kevin Jennings just enough time to make that play. Without that protection by Harden, this play doesn't develop. And then Jordan Hudson runs a seam route. We talked about that cover 2 and the way they try to play it. Perfectly run seam route to split that defense. And Jordan Hudson, the transfer, the leader, the heartbeat, they even said one of the best players on this team, shows it.
Meanwhile, Kevin Jennings, post-injury, down on the turf for more than 60 seconds earlier in this half. 8 of 9, 98 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's gotten better since he got banged up even more.
Well, I talked to the coaching staff on the field. Brett Lashley asked about Jennings. I said, man, 80-85%? He said, no, man, he's a gamer. When it matters the most, he's going to make the play.
Let's take a look at our player spotlight, brought to you by Tecovas. The highlight reel. Kevin Jennings, off platform, no problem. On the ground, no issues. injured ankle and all. How impressive has this been?
I've been blown away by Kevin Jennings, not necessarily only in the first half, but specifically in the second half post-injury. This is the first half touchdown, avoiding pressure, tiptoeing in the pocket, throwing across his body, pointing to his receiver, getting the touchdown. But then post-injury, you're going to still see him make huge plays. He had to limp off the field, be helped off the field, and then since then, all he's done is accept contact, stand in the pocket, throw across his body, and get his team in the end zone. Kevin Jennings is a leader, the captain from South Oak Cliff here in Dallas. Standout.
Mustangs have trailed by as many as 11 points twice today. Now with their first lead. Up the middle for TCU. Josh Hoover back on the field. Jeremy Payne racing for 5.
This is if you're a defensive coordinator, Scott Simons of SMU. This is where you want to live. Why? Because you have the lead, so you know that you can put a little bit more pressure on them, but you also have experience. You had a lead versus Baylor 2 weeks ago. You gave it away. You're going to try not to give it away this time.
Payne over the left side. Nothing doing. Keviante Spears snipped it out. 3rd down.
Big play by the big man Spears, but now we got a critical 3rd down for an offense that has sputtered. Rhett Lashley's trying to keep his guys calm, but you're going to see Josh Hoover want to be talked about. These are the times. 3rd down, we call it money down. That's the time where you make money, whether you're on defense or the QB.
Time for Hoover, delivers a strike. McAllister off and running. Eric McAllister for the TCU touchdown. Sammy needed 5, he picked up 70.
Well, we call it money down for a reason. 3rd down is the down where you have to show what you're made of. It's the most critical down in football. Josh Hoover's going to get it to Eric McAllister on a 5-yard slant. But Jalen Davis-Robinson, number 13, and Jaden Milner-Jones, number 11, both missed tackles. And McAllister is having a day.
Josh Hoover, 4 touchdown passes. 3 coming on 3rd down. And the extra point up and through. 28-24, our new score with 9:18 to go.
A rare combination of size and speed. Eric McAllister, the transfer from Boise State. He's 6'3", 205, but he has track speed, number 1 in the end zone for the Tud.
SMU's lead lasted all of 72 seconds. You're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. Super Frog leading the charge. Middle of that TCU student section. This game found its rhythm and its groove in this 4th quarter. 4-point lead for undefeated TCU. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. And Eric McAllister. Kendall Briles told us yesterday, we want to find a way to get him going. About 6 catches, a couple of touchdowns, and 180 yards to do exactly that. And we're just getting started today. The ESPN networks and on ABC, Auburn and Oklahoma. Battle of top 25 powers in the Southeastern Conference. Undefeated, ready to roll, 3:30 Eastern. Then in primetime tonight, Miami and the Florida Gators. What a matchup that should be. Canes in the top 5 and Jackson Arnold back. The Palace on the Prairie, 2 years at OU, now with Hugh Freeze on the Plains at Auburn.
Yeah, he's been outstanding so far. Jackson Arnold only 1 interception, but he hasn't been pressured just yet. Only been pressured on 9 dropbacks, and what does Brent Venables love to do? Bring pressure. I cannot wait for that matchup.
Final battle for the Iron Skillet. 2 old Southwest Conference rivals, toe-to-toe so far today. Jennings way up into the sky, and Brinson unable to catch up to it. He gave his wide receiver a chance, and heavy pressure from Elarms Orr.
Yeah, you're seeing this TCU defense be the aggressor now. Elarms Orr, unbelievable job. Remember, he's 6'3", 230. Kevin Jennings is 6 feet, 190, so that's a 40-pound difference. That's a second big hit by the inside linebacker Elarms Orr on Jennings.
That was almost like an alley-oop that just missed. 2nd and 10. Low snap for Jennings. He'll have it cleanly off the back foot and incomplete. Jalen Cooper, the freshman receiver. The coverage by Vernon Glover was all over it.
But I got to keep on going back, Roy, to the protection by Harden. The protection allows this pass to be made. But, man, great contest by Vernon Glover.
On third down, Jennings wants it all again. Man-to-man coverage, and I don't think so. Hudson couldn't gain an inch on Vernon Glover.
And you wonder how much that dislocated elbow had to do with it, right? The ball was way inside, but I wonder if you're a receiver, you want to try and use a swim move and get back inside. I don't want to discount the coverage by Glover, but you think a guy like Hudson who's able to make outstanding plays, I wonder how much that elbow injury has to do with him not trying to swim inside and use his hands to get closer to that ball.
3 straight incompletions spanning just 19 seconds. And McSparron back on the field for the Mustangs. No fair catch for Dwyer. Jordan Dwyer corralled quickly after a punt of 50 yards. Nothing on the return. Horned Frogs get it back with a 4-point lead after this. Football matchup, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, the Ravens hosting Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, and the Lions. Peyton and Eli, of course, on ESPN2. Coverage starts 8 Eastern. ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, the all-new ESPN app. And, of course, Scott Van Pelt, Monday Night Countdown. The crew in Baltimore at 6 Eastern, dropping it like it's hot. TCU gets the football back. No gain on first down. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis will try to catch our breath here. A lot happening and a lot of moving parts in this battle for the Iron Skillet. The 104th and final time. 2 years ago it was decided from the TCU side of the equation that this rivalry would be ended after this game today. Mustangs want to keep playing it. Dangerous toss. And Mayazono nearly had himself an interception working against Jeremy Payne, and quickly it's 3rd down and 10, Sam.
Correct, and just moving forward, Hoover's been, he hasn't been what he has been in the first half, and I get it, the stats are going to look good because a 5-yard slant turned into 70, but the more pressure you can put on Josh Hoover right now, if you're Scott Simons, the better.
Eric McAllister at the bottom of your screen, 180 receiving yards so far. And Hoover was looking in his direction. They're going to back the Horned Frogs up 5 yards.
Full start, offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That may have been I think that's the 5th false start by TCU. When you think about it, this is game 3. This isn't the first game of the season, so it's got to be the nerves, the excitement. All that excitement needs to calm down.
Mustangs without an infraction in our second half. TCU with 5. And SMU trying to force its very first 3 and out with a stop here.
And we saw Roy on that last play that was a penalty. SMU was bringing pressure. I expect them not to bring pressure this time. Rush with 4 and drop back.
McAllister in the seam, Hoover waiting. Now delivering straight up into the air. That throw was bothered. McAllister like a center fielder at midfield. And that's a first down for the Horned Frogs. Hoover was hit. Terry Webb in the throwing motion disrupted the toss down the field.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, Roy. This should not have been an incompletion. Not have been a completion. Terry Webb, the defensive lineman, hit the quarterback's arm, hit Josh Hoover's arm as he's throwing it. That ends up being just like a duck in the air. And all of a sudden, comes down for the offense.
30 yards on 3rd and 15. The play that should have never happened. Handoff to John Denman, the freshman running back, with a carry. And a loss of a yard spears the TFL. Meanwhile, Josh Hoover's numbers, over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Eric McAllister, over 200 yards receiving.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, and it's like we've been waiting for this to happen. Last week, we saw Eric McAllister have a relatively good game, but it could have been more. If week 1 versus UNC, really quiet. But the coaching staff said, man, the ball will find him. In this game, the ball has found Eric McAllister.
Now in motion, number 1 for TCU. Hand off to Battle, dives ahead. Now in SMU territory near the 45. Kevin Allen with the tackle, and it's 3rd down.
So we've seen, Roy, the last couple 3rds down in this half, Hoover go to man-jack across the middle. I don't see man-jack in the game right now, but the crossing routes have been available for this offense.
And McAllister again at the bottom of the screen. Sonny Dykes thought about calling a timeout for a moment. Ran down towards midfield, now on 3rd down. There's McAllister. Can he do it again? Yes, he can. The hat trick for number 1 for the Horned Frogs. % of his receptions a year ago went for a 1st down. It feels like 90% of his catches today have reached the end zone.
This dude is different. Eric McAllister has been great. But Josh Hoover is showing why we need to talk about him just a little bit more.
Josh Hoover, 4 touchdown passes. On the money down, on 3rd down, 3 of those to McAllister.
And when you're in this coverage right now, Jalen Davis-Robinson is 7 yards off. And maybe he fears the speed of McAllister, maybe he fears his size, but you can't be that far off on a guy like Eric McAllister. Why? Because he has the size to get inside of you and the speed to outrun you. So you need to be able to put pressure on him and not allow snow angels to be made in the 90-degree weather.
Josh Hoover, Eric McAllister entering the chat in that national conversation. 3rd touchdown strike of this 2nd half and over 250 passing yards. And McAllister handling a lot of the dirty work in the process. You think about that 3rd down and 15 pass that was corralled at midfield. The arm was struck, no problem. TCU fortunate, but also cashing in moments later.
Yeah, man, so it's not, when you're playing basketball, you know, you just feel like the rim is just so big, right? You hear basketball players say, man, I just can't miss. That's what it feels like with Eric McAllister. He just can't miss. The ball gets tipped up in the air, and he just happens to get it. He's playing against a DB that wants to play 7 yards off. He runs a 5-yard slant twice and takes it to the end zone. So he is in the zone right now, the transfer from Boise State, number 1, Eric McAllister.
It's a good feeling to be in said zone, isn't it? Link Rhodes. SMU still with plenty of time left on the clock. And for 20 years, Allstate has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, supporting all student athletes. Thank you once again, Allstate. The most productive game for a TCU wide receiver in 10 years, going back to Josh Dotson. 2015 against Texas Tech, and the 254 receiving yards, Sam, the most by a player in the FBS this season.
It may not be done yet, Roy.
Here comes Kevin Jennings. He's been in the zone as well today. Inside give to TJ Harden. Mustangs with all 3 timeouts remaining, plus the 2-minute stoppage, trailing again by 11.
Still a 2-score game, touchdown, 2-point conversion, field goal, but that clock is ticking. SMU has this hurry-up tempo in their arsenal. Now would be the time, especially because of the time, to implement it.
Hudson went in motion. Jennings, the sidearm delivery. Chris Johnson Jr., 1st down SMU. And Johnson tripped up Close to the 43 by McIver, chopped him down, a gain of 15.
Yeah, he's got that wiggle to him. That was a pass that was caught behind the line of scrimmage, and 15 to 17 yards later, and a missed tackle that he forced on Vernon Glover. Big time first down.
Mustangs blew a 14-point lead late in the game against Baylor. Crosstown in Dallas, they would love to return the favor and a comeback of their own today. Jennings will be sacked. Oyewale, in a loss of 6, number 97 got there.
Correct, 97 got there, but it started with the pressure from number 1, Austin Jordan. He brought the pressure.
Timeout for an offensive player injury.
And Paul Oyewale did the rest.
Joshua Bates, injured SMU player, the starting center. Oklahoma transfer, Sooners and Auburn coming up. Help to his feet quickly. It appears to be okay. ESPN supports the College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Week each year to celebrate great teachers across the country who have inspired so many of us. Nominate a great teacher today in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org. Taylor Davis.
Brett Lashley actually has a teacher that he brought with him here to Dallas, his former junior high and high school football coach at Springdale Christian School in Arkansas, Chris Wood. He is now on staff as the executive director of high school operations. We asked Coach Lashley about the relationship. He said, "It taught me confidence." Speaking of confidence on the field right now, he said it taught me confidence and that I wanted to be a coach. Really special for him to now have him on staff in Dallas.
A lot of pride in that conversation yesterday. Ymir Knight colliding with Bud Clark, nearly securing an interception, Sam.
Yeah, Bud Clark's trying to get that pick. He has a chance, and then number 2, Jamel Johnson, also has a chance. But this defense, this is where you want to be. 3rd and 15. We talked about it, the money down for the quarterbacks have shown it, but the defense, the pass rushers, the inside linebackers who are going to be one-on-one on the running back get a chance to show it as well.
Andy Avalos thinking about bringing pressure. He retreats. Jennings off the back foot, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Johnson. Stepping out of bounds inside the SMU 35. And a big-time turnover, Jamil Johnson. First pick of the season, the junior from Arlington, playing in that safety position. He was well positioned for the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, and he got the pressure. He felt pressure up front. Kevin Jennings did, so he threw the ball, trusting his receiver. But Jamel Johnson said, "Hey, don't trust him, trust me. I'll get this rock, and I'll take it to my team."
Now the Iron Skillet in possession by SMU since last season's 66-42 victory. It's like basketball on turf over at Ford Stadium. So far today, 14 unanswered on the board for the Horned Frogs, back in front. And with possession at the SMU 35. And what a wild fourth quarter this has been. The Ponies took the lead. Big plays for TCU on offense and D. After the interception, Jeremy Payne bounces around, a 1-yard pickup on first.
And this is when, Roy, as an offensive coordinator, you have to get your emotions out of it. The excitement says, man, we got a turnover. Let's go score right now and put them out of it. But the wisdom says, let's run the ball, force SMU to use their timeouts.
First charge, timeout, SMU. This is the 32nd timeout.
And win the game. That's the mindset.
It's been the Eric McAllister show in the second half. A couple of long touchdowns and a big catch on 3rd and 15 moments ago, the difference so far.
Yeah, part of it was luck. The other part of it was skill. Eric McAllister is 6'3", 205, so he's got size. So the defensive back says, I got to stay off of you, but then he's got the speed to outrun the DB. And then we were in the snow room yesterday. They said it snows in that snow room Monday to Friday. Man, he's making it rain out here.
Yes, he is. The 254 receiving yards number you see on the right-hand side of your screen, the second most in a single game in TCU history, just 13 yards away from the all-time mark set by the great Josh Doxson. after the timeout, 2nd down and 8. Eric McAllister and Kendall Briles and Sonny Dykes said yesterday, got to find a way to get him going. He has 8 and left no crumbs so far.
Now they're playing tighter on him now.
To the freshman, John Denman. 1 yard gain, another timeout.
Second charge, timeout. SMU. 30-second timeout.
3:52 to go, and this rivalry set to end after this game. It goes the same way that we have seen Bedlam with Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Penn State, and Pittsburgh, in a rivalry that has been largely unplayed over the course of the last 10+ years. Conference realignment forces the hand of these schools, plus league scheduling in the Big 12 and now in the ACC, which is looking to alter how it goes about its business with future schedules. Sonny Dykes, TCU, 2 years ago. SMU was still in the American. They said this year in 2025 would be it, and that's where it stands.
Correct. And you might say, oh man, it only matters for the players or the coaches. Man, it's recruits who are down here in this game trying to decide, do I go to TCU, do I go to SMU? So the way that this game is being played is going to last beyond conference realignment.
3rd and 7. Do you look for McAllister or Manjack, or do you try to run the clock?
I look for McAllister again, man. He's having a day.
Go back to the well one more time. On the out pattern, he was blanketed. Hoover the pump fake, and Hoover reaching ahead. Oh, it's close. The initial spot appears to be just short of the first down. And now what do you do on 4th down?
Timeout for defensive player injury.
You go for it. If I'm TCU, I've been aggressive from beginning to end. Why would I stop now? A field goal doesn't help you that much. We're going to see it. Josh Hoover makes a good decision. Don't force the ball to Eric McAllister. Instead, run the ball.
3rd and final timeout is charged to SMU. This is a 30-second timeout.
Force SMU to use their final timeout. And it's 4th and less than a yard. A field goal, if you make it, gets you to a 2-touchdown game. Get the first down, game over.
Mayazono was the injured SMU player. Don't forget, coming up bottom of the hour over on ABC, Oklahoma and Auburn, the return of Jackson Arnold, Hugh Freeze, and Brent Venables exchanging pleasantries. The Palace on the Prairie and the great John Mateer. If you haven't seen Sooners quarterback in action, the transfer from Washington State, worth the price of admission, or watching on your flat screen in the friendly confines, get set for a show in Norman.
Yeah, I'm smiling from ear to ear because that dude can play.
4th down. Mustangs need a stop. Horned Frogs trying to keep their foot on the gas. Toss back to the freshman running back. John Denman will push the pile across the 25. And a first down for TCU.
Sonny Dykes was trying to make a statement. He started it with those first 4th downs that he went for, and now when the game's on the line, he trusted his freshman running back and his experienced offensive line to make a critical play.
John Denman has only played running back for 2.5 years. He was thought to be a safety. Manjack back on the field for the Horned Frogs. And they'll go back to Denman one more time. SMU out of timeouts. We still have the 2-minute stoppage. And essentially at this juncture, Sam, it becomes a game of mathematics. One more first down, pending the timing, and that should just about do it in favor of TCU.
Correct. So you run this play, goes to the 2-minute timeout. You run one more play. If you get a first down, you kneel it out. If not, you kick a field goal. Mathematics.
TCU. Josh Hoover has thrown for 5 touchdowns today. Big fumble recovery there as we step aside. Back in Fort Worth, Texas, where the Iron Skillet is on the move from the SMU side over towards TCU. 35-24. Mustangs out of timeouts. And after the 2-minute timeout, Horned Frogs looking for one more first down. Try to put this one on ice. Power formation. Samacho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. What a wild fourth quarter this has been. John Denman for the fumble moments ago across the 30. And that play clock already winding after it hit 40. And let's see. Well, the helmet came off. It looked like for number 40.
There was a defensive player, number 48. The helmet came off. That qualifies for a 10-second runoff. The game clock was at 1:50. Please set it at 1:40, and it will start on my signal. It's 4th down.
And it was number 40 that lost the helmet, Spears. He comes off.
Please set the game clock. Correction, please set the play clock to 40 seconds. Thank you.
And so the Horned Frogs will be able to milk the clock all the way down to about a minute before deciding what they want to do on 4th and 15. Big afternoon for Eric McAllister, the Boise State transfer, Texas native. Preseason all Big 12. What he was able to do a season ago, 5 touchdowns and 762 receiving yards. He achieved about a 1/4 of that in one game today. 8 catches for 254 and the hat trick in the scoring department with 3 TDs. Sonny Dykes called that timeout. 59 seconds to go.
Timeout. TCU, their second charge.
Sammy did it all today, didn't he?
He did, and it was his time. We talked to Kendall Brown before the game, and he said that, man, the ball will find Eric McAllister when it's his time. Today was his day, and the time was right. Eric McAllister took slants to the house. He high-pointed the ball. He found the end zone time and time again, averaging 31.8. That's a video game numbers, man.
Remember, too, there were 2 other plays in the end zone involving McAllister, one on each end, that were an inch away from potentially 2 more scores. So a record-setting day, it could have been even more incredible.
Yeah, I was talking to, there was a Dallas Cowboys scout who was here, and we were chatting a bit. He said, man, at halftime we were talking, he said, man, that McAllister guy, he special. He said, I would have loved to see him bring that ball down in the first half and high-point it. That would have been better, but what did we see in the second half? Him make huge plays. So the NFL eyes are on players like Eric McAllister.
6'3", 205 pounds, the senior. After the timeout, they added 2 more seconds back to the clock. And you wonder, will Josh Hoover maybe think about trying to fire one more towards the end zone? Final game of this rivalry. And that one just falls harmlessly incomplete, looking for Manjack, who had yet to make his cut. And a TCU offensive lineman, in fact, him and Josh Hoover slow to their feet. Ryan Hughes, a starting left tackle, and Josh Hoover remained down, and now Hoover limping off the playing surface.
So I understand not wanting to put your field goal team out there and have a blocked field goal, but it's just tough because your quarterback is in harm's way when he doesn't have to be.
Brandon Booker, the chokehold on the way down as Hoover hit the turf. To his credit, he was back on his feet, showing you the toughness. You hope he's okay for the Big 12 opener next week.
Bingo, next Friday. So that's one less day to prepare to get rest.
At Arizona State, what a matchup that is shaping up to be. For a TCU team, you have to believe will be ranked in the top 25 by the time we get the updated Associated Press poll.
Correct. And even if they're not, they'll have a chance with Arizona State. They got Colorado coming up. They have opportunity after opportunity to show why they're a competitor in the Big 12.
Mustangs out of timeouts across the middle. And Ymir Knight will pick up the first down at midfield. 14-yard gain. SMU needs a quick score and an onside kick and a miracle. Clock running after the chains move. Jennings, Chris Johnson, out of bounds. That'll stop the clock for the moment. 18 seconds to go and an 8-yard gain.
And you start to wonder if you want to just get 5-10 more yards and kick a field goal. But now my focus is back to Josh Hoover. It did not look good, that injury on that last play. So if TCU can close out this game, their focus shifts in a major way.
And the backup quarterback, Ken Seals, a transfer from Vanderbilt. Jennings, intercepted. Jamel Johnson again. Out of bounds with 7 seconds to go. His second pick of the fourth quarter. And that will do it. The TCU defense, after trailing by 3 earlier in the fourth quarter, comes up clutch. Jamel Johnson, his second interception in our final 15 minutes.
Phenomenal eyes by Jamel Johnson. 2 picks, could have been 3, maybe even 4. Had his hands on a bunch of opportunities to get interceptions.
And Josh Hoover, a great sign. Back on the field for one more kneel down. And to put this one on ice. SMU gave it a go, grabbed the lead. But it's TCU forcing the punt, a couple of interceptions. And that will do it. Sonny Dykes told us yesterday, I don't think we've said the words iron skillet all week long. He won't be talking about it for the next couple of years after this win against his old team across town in Dallas. Our final score, 35-24. The Horned Frogs remain undefeated after the win to claim the iron skillet.
And some impressive wins. This win was an impressive win. It wasn't just Hoover, it wasn't just McAllister, it was the defense. Think about that week 1 win versus North Carolina. This TCU team is trying to put people on notice. They have many weapons, Dwyer, McAllister, they have the running game, but most importantly, they got the quarterback who can win it all.
Over 500 yards of total offense. The Hoover to McAllister connection, as incredible as we've seen in college football this year. And down to Taylor Davis on the field.
Thank you, Roy. Eric McAllister and Josh Hoover join me now. Josh, I got to start with that one, though. You took a hard hit, took some time getting up. What happened on that play?
Oh, my whole body cramped up for about 20 seconds, and I'm good. So it was just a long day, and proud of our team for finding a way to win. I mean, it wasn't always clean, but good teams find ways to win in the fourth quarter. That's what we did today, so I'm proud of our team.
Absolutely. A lot of work for you two. Quite the connection. Eric, I got to start with you. The coaches told us yesterday in meetings, we've got to get McAllister going. What was your mentality heading into today's game?
You know, we got a lot of great guys everywhere. I was going to keep doing my job, and who was going to find me eventually. You know, today we did that, so, you know, good game. Love who, love this team. Got to keep going.
254 receiving yards, which is the second most. 254 receiving yards for your guy, the second most in a single game in TCU history. How can this propel you through the rest of season?
I think it's just a game we got to look at. You know, those guys were thinking they could just guard everybody one-on-one, cover 3, and it just shows that those guys got to man up and they got to play true. So if teams are going to do that all year long, it's going to be a great season.
Josh, we talked this week. You've got an arsenal of wins.
Kept fighting. I mean, it wasn't always clean. We had 3 drives in the first half, scored on 2, had an unfortunate interception, just bad luck. And then second half, struggled early, found our stride. It's just a testament to our guys, never quitting, never stopping, never stop playing. They just keep fighting hard, and proud of our guys, proud to be a Horned Frog.
Y'all had some crazy ones. You're going to have fun watching film this week, I'll tell you that. Congrats on the win.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Taylor, thank you. Second most receiving yards in a single game in TCU history, and the most receiving yards by an FBS player this season. Eric McAllister, an incredible display of athleticism and speed, productivity. Sam Acho and Taylor Davis. I'm Roy Philpott. 35-24. Congratulations to TCU with the Iron Skillet. Let's get you back to the studio. Kevin Connors, Trevor Maddich. Gentlemen.
All right,